أهلا وسهلا. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to the Enriching Talks with Hafsa. This is episode number 9. I can't believe it. We are on episode 9 already. And this one is a very special one. As you can see, I'm not sitting here alone. I have a very dear friend I'm going to introduce in a bit. But basically, I'm going to start with introducing myself, as always, for those that don't know me, because I do see there was a lot of new numbers added onto my groups, and I did share this link out. So if there is someone new here, you should know who I am. My name is Hafsa Qureshi. I am originally from Pakistan, born and brought up living here in Kuwait. And a little bit of a background that I always love to tell, that I'm very proud of, subhanAllah. And it's very special now that I'm mentioning it, especially today. Next week, my VBAC baby, Allahumma barik, turns 12. So 12 years ago, I achieved my dream birth. I achieved my VBAC. But the quest of it started 14 years ago. And my traumatic C-section, my first birth was a traumatic C-section that happened 16 years ago. And after that, I was like, okay, this is not how it's supposed to happen. And I started to educate myself. Here in Kuwait, we had a place called Birth Kuwait. I love them absolutely. I was with them the last 3 days. And I took my classes, I educated myself. I doctor shopped and found out that, yes, I could have a natural birth after a traumatic C-section. And then, alhamdulillah, I did. And then the rest is history. What you see on the screen are all my qualifications plus more. I don't think I've updated it. There's more. There's more. And there's something happening at the moment as well. So inshallah, lots to update on this as well. So alhamdulillah, Allahumma barik. So yeah, I stopped whatever I was doing before, well, kind of. And then I jumped into this field to help each one of you. Right? My aim and purpose of life, alhamdulillah, now is to help every single mother, support them, educate them, give them the empowerment for their journey from pregnancy, birth, postpartum, lactation, and soon to come is parenting as well, inshallah. Okay? Allah, alhamdulillah. May Allah make me successful in what I'm doing. And I hope that no mother has to go through what I did. And I am able to support each one of you as much as possible. So the purpose of these enriching talks, like basically the mission and vision, it's not your usual talk show. I mean, yeah, I could do a talk show, fine, where I'm just talking. I love talking. Those that know me, I'm a huge extrovert. I can talk a mile a minute. But the purpose here is every time I want to invite someone inspiring. I want to share birth stories. I want to give motivation. I want to talk on a specific topic. Like last month was the C-section awareness month. So I want to make sure even C-section mamas are heard, right? You're getting the support you need, right? A mama is a mama, regardless of how and what not. Every mother, every woman needs support. So this is what I'm here for. We laugh together just like we were. We've had some tears on the screen as well, and so much more. All right. So this is what I do. This is what I am, my purposes. And I started to do these monthly episodes just to provide something. I'm not going to call it for free, because our time and the fact that you all are here right now, your time is precious, and you're spending time, if not money, that you're here right now with us on screen in different parts of the world, right? Together as we talk about things that we are passionate about, or at least I'm passionate about, to give you the support and give you the guidance perhaps that you might need. Now, without further ado, I'm going to introduce this beautiful person sitting next to me, Lana. She's going to be sharing her 5th birth story, which is one of my favorite birth stories. Her 4th birth story is on my Instagram as well, and on hers as well, because we cross-posted it. So that one's we're gonna kind of use that as a prelude. But Lana is a dedicated advocate for natural childbirth. And no, we didn't become friends. Because one of you asked me to tell you our history. I'm going to start that in a bit. I'm going to pause sharing so that the screen sharing so that it's just both of us on the screen before we start talking. She's also a doula, and she's also all about supporting moms, probably more than me. I don't know. She doesn't have a gazillion support groups, but she does other things.
I'm in yours. I think.
Yeah, she's in all of mine. Yeah, that works. Okay, and any kind of birth, any kind of support a woman needs, she will be doing it. So today she's going to share her own birth story. And like I said, we'll talk about the ones that happened and all of that, and all about how every woman should be respected of her birth wishes, regardless of what they are. Okay, so I'm good. I'm going to do is stop sharing. So it's just her and I that you guys see. Let me just make us big. So we are, how do you do that? Here, spotlight. Okay. Now, I think all of you know the Zoom chat option. At any point you have any questions, you can start popping them in. If it is something I feel I need to answer at the moment, I will do that. Otherwise, we'll answer them all at the end. Okay? So, Lana, Bismillah.
Hi.
Hi.
First of all, really happy to have you all here, that you're interested in, hearing my story. And to dive right in, I feel home birth is for everyone and not for everyone, but we are not talking today about, what kind of birth you should have or not have, but because we're always talking about informed decisions and choosing, I think that part of the option should be choosing a home birth. And it's not talked about a lot because it's not an option that is offered to you when you go into the hospital. So this is the main reason why I want to share, is to normalize that it is an option to birth at home, whether you have a team or not and who you choose to be there, but it is one of the options that you have when it comes to birth.
Inshallah. So like I said, I'm going to take us back. How many years ago? 13.
Well, I'm in Kuwait.
Almost.
No, it's more. I'm in Kuwait for 15 years. And
Yeah.
we met.
We met when you were pregnant with your first, and I was pregnant with my second.
We met in person, but I think we knew each other
before that,
a little bit. So at least 12 years, yeah.
Yeah. So you wanted to say a bit about your ethnic background. Where did you come from?
Okay, I'm from Germany. And I came to Kuwait because of my husband. I live here for 15 plus years now. And
her husband's from Kuwait.
And Kuwait has become my home, and I have had all my babies here. I did not travel to have them outside. I have 5 children. I had 6 pregnancies. One of my pregnancies, which was the 4th one, was a miscarriage. And I had 2 babies induced, my first 2. Obviously, like, always starts with the worst kind of experience. 2 babies induced in hospital. Then I had 2 more hospital births, and my last one I had at home.
Okay, yes. And then how did we meet? So we were kind of in touch. You used to do soaps back then. You were doing stuff like imported stuff.
I was selling stuff from Germany.
Yeah, she was saying. So that's how I got to know. I'm like, okay, interesting girl, nice. Mashallah, revert into Islam as well. I was like, okay.
We supported each other kind of online, and then we met.
Yes.
Like we met, I think, first time at a birth Kuwait
event. At a birth Kuwait event.
Where I visited you.
And then I got to know that, mashallah, she's expecting. And that time I used to volunteer with Birth Kuwait. And I was like, how about you come to our event? And that's when she came.
Right.
And I was further along. You were not so further along in your pregnancy. And that was my VBAC baby. So it was me trying everything and anything and finding the support and just being all into it, right?
Right. I was not.
And you were not. You didn't realize it. Oh, she was like, hey, I'm pregnant.
I was
so
like,
what?
Okay. I mean,
what Birth Kuwait?
I was like, I have my doctor and she's really nice. And I just, my trust was basically with my doctor. And I did not have that negative experience that you had. Like I was first time pregnant.
Exactly.
I was not like, I don't have like horror stories from my family.
Yes.
So I wasn't even in fear. So everything was like,
yeah, okay, it's pregnancy, whatever. Like, I have a good doctor, I'm good, right?
Right.
That's what we all think. And that's the question I always get. The first question I get, okay, can you tell me about a doctor in so-and-so city? I'm like, okay, but have you educated yourself? Do you know what to ask your doctor? Do you know what to expect from your doctor? I can definitely recommend it. All these years of experience, it's been 13 years now? I know where and what, and the changing of experiences as well. Someone who was amazing might not be so amazing anymore.
And
yes,
what is great for one person, what they're really happy with, might not be what you want. So even if it's like your best friend, saying, that this doctor was amazing and she did exactly what I wanted, maybe your birth wishes are different from your friend. So one doctor can be amazing, like let's say an amazing surgeon, amazing for a C-section, doesn't mean that person is exactly amazing for natural birth, for example.
Exactly. So true. And that's what we need to keep in mind. And this is why I do what I do, is make sure that you guys are educated. You know exactly what to shop for when it comes to doctor shopping, because that is a shopping, right? And so back then,
midwife.
Even if it's a midwife, whoever you're planning for to have at your birth. So that's when we kind of met, and then we kind of stayed in touch. I got my VBAC, alhamdulillah. She had her first baby who was induced. It was a vaginal birth. Yay. I didn't get a C-section, right?
Yeah, right. My birth was a happy memory.
Yes, alhamdulillah. That's a good thing.
Until I did my doula training.
Until you did the doula training, subhanAllah.
And I broke down in tears and I'm like, shit.
Language, Lana.
Okay, Barry, that's as far as it goes, you know.
It's fine.
And I was like, yeah, like, right. Those things that didn't feel so right were actually because they were not right. Not because there was something wrong with me, but because
this is not how it's supposed to be.
That's not how it's supposed to be, right? And if you take all those things away, birth was actually beautiful.
Yes.
Like the birth part itself, that wasn't like, you know, like dictated by others, was actually,
alhamdulillah, really good. And then you left Kuwait in the middle for a bit.
Yeah, I lived after my 2 inductions. I lived in UK for 2 years.
So she had 2 kids, and then we would be in touch on off. Not the chummies we are now. Like at that time we were like on off, and I think it was that turning point as well when you did the training, when you realized how birth can be. It was before your 3rd baby. Yeah. It was before her 3rd baby where we really grew close. We were always in touch. We always loved each other. We would always meet whenever we could. Lots of iftar parties and things like that. We would jump in. She has a basement, which I absolutely love.
She has a basement that sounds so shady.
Yeah, it's not a shady basement.
Basement is always...
So I would always be like, yeah, when are you planning?
Call it the party basement.
Yeah, I would be like, Solana, when are you inviting us into your basement next? So yeah, she has this basement I absolutely love, and she'd throw lovely parties, and we'd meet there. So it was a lovely friendship. It kind of just grew on us, and then when we started, our mindset started to meet so much. I think that is truly where we connected, and we became really good best friends. Right? If I had a birth, if I had any mom I wanted to discuss about or something, she was my go-to person. Right? We would call each other up, even though we might not talk every day. We still do. Even if we don't talk every day, like I saw her over the weekend at the expo. Since, I don't know, after a few months I saw her. We had been trying, but because my son was having exams, she was traveling, something or other kept coming up and we couldn't meet. But whenever we meet, it's just like
so what's the birth experience, you know, like, okay, what's on your plate? Because it's a lot to debrief, and it's also sometimes when we are with someone because we're emotionally invested.
Yes,
like, you know, whoever someone's pregnant or someone gave birth and it's like, you know, something doesn't feel right for them, you know, and it's always this urge you want to help, right?
Yes.
But sometimes you're so in it that, you know, you need like kind of like a, you know, like someone who's looking at it from the outside.
But from the same mindset.
From the same mindset, but from the outside, that gives you like a fresh angle on how to look at things and what advice can you give, what support can you offer.
Yeah.
Because I feel sometimes women can be overrolled by our, you know, it's like, you know, you have all these options, or you should do other things, and all they think about is like, my doctor said, or my husband says, or, you know, it's a lot of like, but I can't, or, you know, all these things that like hold you, and they actually hold you. It's not like you do, you know, your life circumstances matter, but there's a lot of like, sometimes it just needs like allow yourself to think bigger, because that's what you did.
Yeah.
You know, like when you had your births, and then when you went for your VBAC, you didn't go for your VBAC because someone said, you know, Hafsa, you can do it. This is for you.
No.
You decided for yourself.
It was the opposite, because my mom has had 4 C-sections. My sister had 4 C-sections. Me thinking even about a VBAC was like I had some antennas growing up here. Like, what is a VBAC? What, are you crazy? And when 18 doctors told me no, even then I was so persistent about it. They were like, really, she's gone cuckoo.
Because you allowed yourself to think that it is for me.
Right.
It's for other women, and it's also for me. And that's a lot of the times when, you know, when women come to me with their concerns, they want something, you know, and it's always because we know, I mean, after the birth, we can say, oh, I achieved this and that, what I wanted. But until then, you still have that doubt.
Right.
You have that doubt, like, I want it and I'm working towards, but what if it's not for me?
Yeah.
And, you know, when I thought about this, I was like, okay, isn't it quite arrogant of you to think that it's not for you? You know, like,
who am I? Why am I playing God?
Exactly. Allah, Allah created us all unique, but also equally.
Exactly.
And like the thing how things are, it's like you hide behind saying, I'm not sure that's for me.
Yeah.
And it's in the end, it's like, okay, but you can't just sit there and like, I wish, and you do nothing.
You do nothing, right? Yes.
Like you wish, okay, but you do the steps that bring you where you want to go. And if you don't do those steps, it's maybe because you don't want to go there.
Exactly.
And then you ask yourself, okay, why is it that you don't want to go there? Like, is it safer for you to stay in that position? And then in the end, you're going to be sad about whatever happens to you, but you leave all the responsibility for whatever happens with others.
Right.
And it's part of growing up. It's kind of like noticing at the end that you really truly realize that you're grown up. You're not the child anymore, but I mean, you're still a child, but you're the parent now. And it's time to grow the F up, like this is the time now that where you have to realize, okay, nobody's going to do it for you.
Yes.
And soon there's going to be a little one looking up to me like you're the parent now, right?
Exactly.
So this is the time where you have to, like get a grip and make a decision, and this decision is like, okay, allowing yourself to have all the options, and this is your body. And it's where, if you again, if we talk about ourselves, we have all these doubts, but then when we talk to others, we're like, you can do it.
Yes.
Women are very big with cheering others on. It's like, you can do it. Why can't you do it? You can do it, of course. You believe in yourself, and you can achieve whatever you want. But when it comes to myself, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So the believing in yourself and knowing that our takhliq, like my creation is complete. Allah's tabarakallah wa ahsanul khaliqin. Allah has created me complete. If we just look at this one ayah of the Quran, I feel it gives you all the possible answers you might need. Okay? And that matters a lot. Okay, that's it. Where's my faith gone? I really feel it's a lot to do about that. Yeah, so back to us.
Yes.
So back to how our minds kind of align, we came like into this metaverse.
Right.
Right.
I think why we are such a good match is because you are so with the numbers and the proof and the, which is great,
what people need.
Because it works in our favor. Because
Yes,
when you
it
look
does.
at birth and you actually look at all of the numbers and stuff, it actually tells you, listen
It's
to
safe.
your body.
Exactly. Yes.
Birth is safe.
Yes.
And it tells you also where the risk lies.
Right, of course.
So when you make a decision like totally based on risks, you will choose what is natural to you. If you actually look at all those numbers, what is the safe thing to do? And then me, I'm more on the, like, don't look at all those numbers.
Yeah,
never look at
your
the
level of faith is another level. That's what I'd say, mashallah alik.
Because I don't choose from a point of fear. I don't make my decisions based on fear. Because when you choose in fear, you don't choose what's right for you.
Right.
You don't choose what you actually want.
Sorry.
Your view is only at the next moment what you are scared of.
Right.
And you don't even look at the true facts anymore. It will be a 0.1% chance of something is going to make you cave on everything that you want.
It's what I always say. One birth story can push you back. It's like you climbed 10 flights of stairs and you read one negative birth story, and it's like it pushed you all the way back down. That's why, or maybe this is the way I am, and that's what I want each one of you to be, and that's why I do these sessions. Positive mindset.
Yeah.
Why can't we not see the good in everything? Right? Even in the worst. Am I not human?
No, it's always looking at the negative. We love negativity. Why? We love because they validate that we don't get up and don't do the right thing.
I just don't understand that. My mindset, I don't know. It's not
easier.
It's easier. It's easier. It's not that I have been like
it looks easier. It's not easier.
It's not easier. So,
but it seems to be easier.
Yeah, I mean, we all go through phases in our life. If I look at it right now, maybe right now I'm in one of the most toughest phases of my own life. Okay, but am I letting it impact my perspective or my mindset? No. This is the ikhtiyar, that's the option Allah has given me. And that's what I want you all to. I remember Arsha was saying you're speaking cycle because she's been.
I told you not to laugh, and now you pointed out.
Okay.
Well, there's a lot of psychology. That's the thing. That's why birth is not a number about your body and about something rupturing and about someone dying and about, it's so much
It's
more about
about-
like what's in your mind. Like you always, isn't that your phrase? Like 90%
Yes,
mind
exactly.
and
Look at
10%
that.
body.
Yeah, the VBAC.
That
Okay.
is basically
For all
what
the
I'm saying.
VBAC moms listening to me now, because some of you might be the first time, the risk of rupture is 0.2%, which means you don't like, oh my God, what if I'm the 0.2%? Then what's
It's
going to
what,
happen?
99.8%.
So
Exactly.
99.8% it's not going to happen. So where is my common set that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me that I'm going to obsess of the 0.2? Or am I going to be the positive, common sense, logical person that think that 99.8, oh yeah, I've got a huge chance. Let's go for it.
And again, it depends how do you look at things. Why, like, think about it. Why does a doctor tell you, or anyone, the risk is 0.2%? Why don't they say, or why don't you tell yourself the chance at success is 99.8%? How does that make you feel when you look at something and it's like, okay, I want to go for this, and the chance of achieving what I want, the chance of winning, the chance of everything gonna go in a good way is 99.8%. Like if you tell me you want to go for something, the chance 99.8%, I'm gonna be like, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in, no question. No question. Do I have a doubt whether it works or not? No. The risk is like super, super small.
So my doctor is like, it's 60 to 70%.
Well, it works better in the doctor's favor, right? To say that, because it's like,
So this is why get your facts right. That's what 18 people told me. But did I listen to them? No, because I had my facts right.
Maybe that's that doctor's percentage.
Maybe it's their percentage. You're right. And Zaid, now that you are with me, I know her. I will give you the right numbers. Alhamdulillah.
Also, think about, why does someone want to prove you wrong? You are not them,
right?
Like there are a lot of people that I don't know, fail on whatever. Maybe they're they were not dedicated enough, and it's not about you set your mind and you do nothing physically. The question is, ask yourself, and it's such a deep question: do I really want it, and do I want to succeed, or do I want to prove anybody that they were right?
Yeah. Look at what Sarah's saying. The OB was having some attacks with how I had it dropped. That's her problem. Oh my God, I hope she's okay.
Yeah, you probably crashed her statistics now.
Chef 2 scans and me post delivery.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. You proved it.
Because if you believe
you did not rupture with after 3 C-sections, there you go. But she couldn't stomach it, probably. Yeah, alhamdulillah. All right, back to Bubu's birth now.
Bubu's vessels. Bubu's.
No, first I'm going step by step. So we met, and then she became a doula.
Right.
And then she had her third baby, which was
a hospital birth with a birth plan. And at that time, I did what I wanted, but I was still very people pleasing. So when I discussed my birth plan, I still agreed to some things that, for the safety and the hospital safety, and I was like, okay, I get,
again, you were human.
I get 80 or 90% of what I want. I'm like, okay, that's a pretty good outcome, right? So I was like, at that time, I was like, okay, maybe I can't get the 100% of what I want, but I can get like a lot of it. So I still was, not there where I was like later on.
Yeah.
And I wasn't analyzing it like that at that time. I was like, this is what I can get now. And it was like what I was willing to fight for at that time.
Right. But alhamdulillah, I mean, it was a better birth than her previous two.
Definitely. And again, the part of the birth that was not nice was the things where I did not put my foot down with what I really wanted.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
A quick brief of how the birth went.
It was a natural birth. I went into labor.
There was no induction this time.
No. I said the induction was done for me. Yeah. Like, why would I go for it again? I only went for it in the beginning because it was set by the doctor, and okay, she wouldn't.
You didn't know better.
Further, I didn't know better. And I went, and I also wasn't scared of the induction. So nobody told me that. I could have also gone differently, but it went. Alhamdulillah, it went fine. It didn't end up in a C-section. I always say I could have been a C-section mom in the end. Because if my body didn't respond at that time,
that's what I was going to say. Induction. The recent, I think it was you who shared with me that out of 9 women, 8 of them who had induction, they ended up with a C-section.
Really?
So if women, if
someone, I don't even go into those.
I do. And that is why when a mama says she's decided, I mean, I respect her decision. Of course, I support her with whatever she is, but I do prepare her for C-section recovery. I am mentally prepared that this woman is probably going to end up with a C-section as well, knowing what the statistics are. And if the body and the baby isn't ready, we kind of know what's going to happen. Okay.
Right.
But there have been successful induction cases, and she's sitting here. One of them is her.
Right. I do believe that, again, there was a lot of, I was ready. I wanted to have my baby, and I was ready for the labor part. So, like,
your
I'm thinking
oxytocin wasn't sabotaged.
No, my setting was, there wasn't, I didn't feel in danger. I was mentally
It was not something
okay.
forced onto you. It was something you accepted.
Yes, I accepted
And you
it.
surrendered to.
I surrendered to, yes. Because in the end, whether it happens naturally or synthetically, there's something trying to open your cervix, right? So this is like, we always talk about, like, you know, we can connect this with me sharing the experience of this third baby. We're talking about the centimeters, right? Like, this is the big measuring of women, you know?
Yeah,
how many
stick a ruler
centimeters
inside.
are they dilated, right? So you have like this chart thing where you can see like how
my mom must know. I always
but what does it mean? You know, like, this is basically, you know, like your cervix is what closes off, you know, where your baby.
Do you want me to bring the cervix, Mom?
Can you bring the cervix?
Yes, yeah. Just you keep talking.
So when you talk about this, how it opens, it's not like a door that keeps opening a little bit. It's a muscle. So if you think about it, a contraction that opens that means there is pressure that's on it, and you know, the more you relax, and it's not like, oh, relax, and you tell yourself relax, and then it just magically happens and you relax. You can't force relaxation. When you actually feel, oh, now you're getting the whole deal. I love that. Like,
it's the whole thing.
Okay. So here we have.
She's made me doing
This is the first time I'm touching stuff like that. Okay. This is when I'm with you, I'm going into the numbers, right? So it's upside down. Okay, so here we have the 1 centi, right? And then in the end it goes all the way to,
I've got the fancy cervix as well.
To, where is it? Oh my God, it's the mirroring, you know?
Yeah.
So to doesn't it show? Okay. So it's quite big.
No, wait, let me show you this one. I've got the fancy cervix.
Doesn't show.
So this is like, so this is like a closed cervix. And then this is, look at this one.
Okay,
This is the full one.
Okay. With the baby's head, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not good showing everything because I want them to join my classes. To see everything.
We're doing real talk today, right?
Okay.
So, right. I always like to talk about pooping because that's the only thing that men can, you know, that they can relate to. Because they don't give birth, right? And also a lot of women, including me, until I, you know, educated myself about it, and really not just the education, but like to really thought about it. Okay, our cervix, right, is part of our body. It's inside our body, and when we birth, it opens like this much. Okay, like way more than anyone using the bathroom.
Yeah, well, again, this is for us to visualize.
But that's actually what happens in you.
Yeah, that's what your body's doing.
What's
your body's created to do this, and there's nothing wrong in that.
And
that's a good thing.
Like, when you think about it, if this opening by force, whether it's at a, like, what do they call it, a sweep, you know, like, or during labor, do you think that opens well when you are not feeling okay?
Yeah, no, of course not.
Exactly. Course not. So why do you think it can happen really well and easy when you allow it to be easy, and then you're in a safe space where your body can naturally react? And why I talk about going to the bathroom is everyone knows you need to go urgent, and then something happens, and
the urgency goes away.
Urgency is gone. It's gone. You know, you were about to literally pee yourself.
Yeah, and the urgency goes.
Yourself.
That's what we do to the kids, right? We distract them. Like when I'm on a road trip and they're like, Mom, I need to go to the bathroom. Well, why didn't you go? We just talked a minute ago. But no, they want to go when we are on the road again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we distract them. My husband's like, okay, we don't do screen times, but just give her the screen right now, just so that we can distract her. And it does distract them.
And that's a better way of distracting, right? But sometimes it's like fear.
It could be fear.
You know, like,
yeah, I was gonna say. So always remember, love opens and fear closes. Always remember that. And that's all on. This is the little sneak view of I'm doing of my cervix models.
So that's why. No, give it back to me. I want that 10 centimeter one that we're talking about. Touch. Yes, I like to hold that cervix in my hand.
You can hold it for the rest of the talk. We're all like.
And like this, okay, it's 1 centimeter per hour and all that. I'm really annoyed by that, by the way. This whole like, okay, we keep checking and we keep tracking, and that might be true because everything is true, right? Everything that happens is like it actually happens. But how can a cervix open that fast, for example?
Yep.
And there's so much about the openness to the situation, the acceptance of a situation. And I think when that happens, that you really accept and you are in it and you're connected to your body and not just measuring from the outside. There are women, they're like, okay, I know my baby is coming now.
Yes.
I need to push now. I feel like, and then many times, you hear that they're told, no.
Yeah.
It will be,
Yeah, close the legs, don't push.
It's like 10 minutes ago, you were only, I don't know, 5
Yeah, how can
cm
you be
or
pushing
whatever,
so
for
soon?
example.
Well, there you go. That's the birth story we're going to talk about. That, subhanAllah, things can happen like this, and I have seen it. She's experienced it.
And it actually did happen with my third when I went to the hospital. The reason, again, all my cervix checks were done in order to be heard. So with my son, they kept me at triage. Triage there, and they basically wanted to do CTG, whatnot, and I'm like, hello, no. And the moment my doula arrived, I told her, I said, send me the doctor, let them do a cervix check. This was when I just started. I said, let them do a cervix check, because I don't think, things will happen on time if they want to do all their protocol first. And then she came and she did a check, and I was at 7 centi, and they're like, yalla, get her in, quick. So again, you get measured and suddenly there's an urge, but nobody's listening to you.
Exactly, yes.
Like you speak and it doesn't matter what you say. You as
listen
women don't
to
have
the mother,
feeling,
observe the mother, look at the
Exactly.
mother.
And you observe yourself. That's the next thing,
yourself.
Because a lot of women and people in general, because I do believe that the fathers are also very big in when it comes to birth, play a huge role if they want to take on that role. But a lot of people choose not to take on that role, including women, and they they don't want to tune in. Okay, and I know that this triggers a lot of people when I say this, because we all think that we are connected to ourselves, but a lot of times we are not. We are not,
right.
Or we don't, because we don't want to, because it's easier, and we're like, oh, this is too complicated. And what if I make a wrong decision? What if my intuition is wrong? What if the other one was right? So so you don't want to take on that responsibility. It's easier to keep that with the doctor. And then in the end, you think you can say, okay, if anything goes wrong, it's the doctor, but then how does it always go? In the end, it's always your fault. It's always your body that failed. It's not because you didn't want to. You never leave the hospital and the doctor will say, oh, sorry, here we really messed up, or here's something that's going wrong. No, it's always the woman that gets blamed. So in the end, you go home with the blame anyway, or you go home with the fault and with the guilt anyway. So taking responsibility here doesn't mean that things go wrong, but it means that things can go right. You open the door to that things can go the way how you want it, because you take that responsibility.
Exactly.
So he was born like within an hour after I was let in. Like from the time I arrived at the hospital, within an hour he was born.
Amazing.
And it was quite overwhelming, and there were too many people in the room. This was like 6 years back, when it was still like much rarer to have a woman not be on her back, obedient, doing the things that how she's instructed to. So I feel like half of the staff was there for sightseeing, like, look at that one who's on.
Oh, she's doing something. Yeah, and she was like,
she's doing
she's doing something that humans don't do.
Exactly. So like, okay, let's go and see how it goes,
Let's see. Let's see.
Like, for example, I heard before that someone said at the time of birth, you have to be on your back because we are scared of the baby like flying off the bed. I know she's trying to imagine that. Like, I've never seen a baby like fly. Like, like shot out like a shotgun or something. Is it totally? And like, are you all incapable like of catching a flying baby? Like, why? Just think about a woman on all fours giving birth. Like, where would the baby fly?
Where would the baby? Yeah, there's so many of you there.
Like,
just catch a baby.
Like you have one job to secure that. Like, but again, you're scared of that. What if the baby slips from you? Whatever. What? So it's all like, again, like risk.
Anyway, back, because time, Lana, time.
Oh my gosh, there's
we can talk. Lana and I can talk this all day, every day, any day.
Right.
All right. So, Mahalhal,
Yeah, he
birth.
was born.
It was the birth that happened. And then before Emily's birth, she had her miscarriage.
I had a miscarriage, yeah.
And it was the COVID kind of time as well.
And again, that was my first experience with miscarriage. And I always thought I was arrogant enough to think that's not me. Like it wouldn't happen to me because I had 3 pregnancies. I was like, I got pregnant easily.
The fact that you're validating that.
Yeah, I mean, I did not think this would happen to me. I did not believe it until it happened.
Yeah. Then accepting is not easy as well.
Yes. But what I liked was like, it was a learning experience of that anything is possible for anyone, like you think, doesn't matter how many C-sections you had or whatever birth experience you had, every birth is a new birth. Every pregnancy is a new chance and something good and bad. And it always depends, like there are things that, Allah decides for us, things that we can't change.
Yeah. And that's what Arshma wrote here about istikhara. This is where we seek the divine help. So it's like a combination of it all.
Right. Okay.
Right?
I feel like I can put the cervix down.
Thank you. The cervix is going.
I was holding on to your cervix.
not mine.
No,
you cannot do that.
So my hal was born, and then I had the miscarriage, and then I was pregnant again. And that time, this is the birth story, my fourth.
The one that's on my account as well. She's really written it well. So if you want like the details, the gory details, you can check out.
It's on your account. I think you have to dig a little bit, but if you go on my account,
it should be
there, like not that far down, and I have it on my stories as well.
Right. I should put mine on my stories. All birth stories.
Yeah, why not?
I'll do that today.
Anyone going to my birth stories and you read it, do let me know that you're reading it. I sometimes I get feedback. Someone tells me, "Oh, I sent this to my friend," and someone like that was the whole purpose.
So like the other day, Mubina's story. Mubina, she's here right now. She's the one who had a natural birth after 4 C-sections, a home birth after 4 C-sections. So someone was commenting on that as
right.
well. So,
yeah. So then with Emily, with my 4th birth, I just like six weeks prior, I was at a home birth in Kuwait.
Yes. Okay. And that was accidental. Like she didn't plan to be there, but she did know she was going to support her friend. And she's online. I saw Leah online.
Yeah, I saw her too.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's still around now or not.
No, she isn't.
And when she called me, because she really did not want to go to the hospital again. She really did not want to be in that.
By the way, Leah is one of my VBAC mamas too. So
yep.
Lots of love to her.
The VBAC that I was with her, which was in the hospital before, right? So it was first was a C-section, and then the second one was the VBAC in the hospital where I was honored to be with her, and then it was another baby, and she really did not want to, go into the hospital again. And then she called me and she was like, I need to go to the hospital. Like, what?
Yeah. And she lives far. So Lana lives far, for whatever far is.
For you, for
yeah, we always have
the central people.
Yeah, for the central people.
Right.
So this friend, this VBAC mama, she lives somewhere where she does. And she was supposed to meet us for breakfast or something. And she's like, oh, my friend has called me.
True, yes.
You remember?
Yeah, I can't. I think I have to go. And then it's like, okay, so you want to go to hospital, but because you didn't choose what you exactly want, I'm like, okay, so where do you want to go? And then she didn't tell me exactly where she wanted to go. Anyway, I don't want to go into the whole birth story, but in the end, I arrived at her house to see, okay, where do you want me to bring you now? What's the situation? And she gave birth within 5 minutes. Like I arrived, she asked me like, am I okay? It was literally like, am I okay? There's like a few drops of blood. Like, is this okay? And I'm like, yeah, that's okay. And
then 5 minutes the baby was there, and Lana got the honor to experience that.
So, and then after that experience, that was so peaceful and intuition led, and there was no, like the whole things that really piss you off when you are having people there who are not doing the things that serve you, but they have their own protocols and things and so on.
Did you catch that flying baby?
I caught all my flying babies.
No, this Leah's baby.
The one that was at home?
Yeah.
So he was born in a squat on the floor.
Okay,
so he was. We put a towel, and because he was a bit behind her, I put him front, and then she took him up on her chest. No, there's no catching. That's what I was saying. There is no flying baby. Just think about it. It's not like you press the button like like these cars that you press and they go off. Birth is not like that. Yeah, of course, like if it's especially if it comes with the fetal ejection reflex, but still it's not like they just
the mother instinctively will do it herself.
And if you are not alone, and you have other people there, can't they be like capable enough
to just hold the baby?
Hold, and if you have, especially if you have a towel, I mean, towel is not slippery.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, also the hole is not like it's like a goal, like a goalkeeper, you know, you have to go like left and right and here and there. Like, where's the baby coming from? From a small opening. You know, again, let's go back to the cervix. If you can't catch that with 2 hands and a towel, then I really don't know. I really don't know. Especially when all are waiting for it. Like baby is there and all are waiting for it. Not like they are not in a room and they don't know, you know. Okay.
Sense again.
So again, after that birth, it was really hard for me to like set up my mind. Okay, I'm gonna go.
And she was pregnant by then.
Yeah. This was 6 weeks before Emily was born.
She was like heavily pregnant herself.
And so I remember when labor started. After I thought, because my labors, they were all fast. And then I thought, you know, I have to be going to the hospital early because again, I live far, right? So it's all about going safety. It was all safety. Like I didn't want to have a car birth, like imagine 15 year old. Oh my gosh, no way. That's not what I wanted. So I went early, but it was like a very negative experience in the end. I was just frustrated.
I remember that it was night.
And I said, I'm going to go to bed. I took a shower, tried to wash off all these hands that touched me from my body. I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. I don't want it. I don't want.
I remember the conversation at that time as well.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, our conversation was good, but
everything no, it's always good.
It was horrible. And then at night, like Fajr time, contractions picked up. And I said to my husband, I was like, if I don't wake him up now, I'm going to have a birth. So I was like, okay, what do I do? And we agreed on, you know, that we go together and that we do this together. And I told him what I wanted and that he has to protect my space and my wishes.
Yes.
And we went to hospital. I was very sad, but it was also good because I made a decision. And I was aware. I wasn't going with like, okay, I don't want this, you know, and
there you go.
This like
you were
doing. I was
grieving
in the car. I still remember. I was sitting there and I was sad. I was grieving, and I was accepting. I was like, okay, I just made a decision. I could have also chosen differently,
right? Because
it's a choice in the end. As long as you're not dragged by someone else to do it, you choose. So at that time, I put my husband's wish to have the hospital birth above my own like desire of not going into that place, but I still made myself at peace with the decision that I obviously made.
Right.
And then again we arrived there, and the difference to the birth before is like when they said, okay, you know, we have to check you and we put you like go to the other floor. I'm like, I'm having a baby now and I want you to let me in. Because there are women coming here to have an induction and they're let in, they have 0 contractions, and I know my baby's coming now. And I want in, and I want that room.
Yeah, she chose the room.
And I was like, I want that room. I like that room. So I'm you know, so the way how you speak and the way how you demand things, not in a rude way, but
you don't want to fight. The last thing you want to do is fight.
Exactly. You are sincere and straight with what you want, and you're not there begging. I mean, especially private hospital, like hello, you know, people pay a lot of money. You're a customer.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you don't go into a spa. You don't go into a spa and you're like, please, if you don't mind and you have time and it doesn't bother you today, would you do a scrub for me? Like, no, I go there. This is what they offer, and you choose and you demand and you say, and if you don't like something, you complain, and you know, just like everywhere else. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, this is an invitation for you to reflect. How are you as a customer? When you go places, when you go to a massage and you don't like the pressure, do you say something, or do you like just suffer through it? You know? Exactly. And in the end, like, I don't like this place, you know, like they kind of like, she just like.
There is no use complaining later on. Why didn't you speak up then?
And the thing is it bad to say something? No. You know, never. It's like women are told a lot to stay small, to not cause problems, but is it actually causing a problem? Isn't it helpful for both sides? You know, because if you say something doesn't mean that you are rude. It is a chance for them to improve and to do the way that you leave as a happy customer, you know? So back to hospital where things are a little bit different because they don't want you to be like the happy customer that walks away with, you know, it's like we have different interests. The interest of the hospital is like, I'm not saying they are bad people or they are
no, definitely. We have to work with them.
Trying to stay on the safe side for themselves, because in the end, you know, it's not like it's a business, but also because, you know, when you go for a massage, there are no risks of you know, death, you know,
Right.
to say the word out loud.
Yeah.
But in a hospital there is. So they are doing everything to stay safe on their side, which doesn't always serve you. And again, you know, when we go to birth, birth is not death.
Right. Birth is
Birth
life.
is the start of life, you know, and just like the risk of hemorrhaging, again, let's go back to the success or the chance of a birth without hemorrhaging is 99.8%. So if we look at that, sounds really positive, sounds really good. So I went in there, I was in labor, and
This was the next morning, and she chose the room. She chose the room because she wanted to see the sunrise. So the
Yeah.
hospital, that's where I had my last one as well. It's at the beach, okay? And she wanted to make sure that anything that could help her positively with the oxytocin,
yeah.
she chose that room.
So that time I did not accept a cannula. I did not want anyone to poke me. I did not like even not about receiving any medication or saline, but about I didn't want anything in my skin. I didn't want anything, you know, like a burning sensation or anything that I didn't need, because we can agree on that you don't need that.
Yeah,
In that
of course,
situation,
of course.
You
If
might
all is
need
good.
it. You might need it
In other
later on in
situation.
an emergency, but in that situation you don't need.
Yeah,
It's a
all is
safety
well.
measure that the hospital wants you to have, you know. So I made my choices that I don't want that, and they legit came and bothered me like 24 times or so.
Oof.
Until my husband, again, it was my husband, not me, because I offered to sign, and then until my husband proactively went and approached the doctor and said I can sign, and then they let him sign.
I'm gonna hold you on that thought. Husbands. I really feel we live in very male-dominated countries. Sometimes this is why it's not just
all countries, by the way.
Well, yeah,
Just in different levels, but all
countries. So and this is what our Quran says, that the man is the qawwam, صح? Let's channel that correctly, which I'm just going to give you guys a little teaser. I am going to have, I don't know if he's online right now or not. I am going to have one of the fathers, his wife is online, definitely, be on my talk, and we're going to talk about how to be the qawwam for the birth. He's, yeah, okay.
I agree with you.
We need to know that.
And the thing is, ultimately, what do men want? They want to be in charge. They want to feel like they hold power, because that
but then we need to tell them what we need
power
from
over
them.
what? You know, it's like, and you can be submitting to birth, to, you know, the natural process totally without being out of control.
Right.
You know, that's why you prepare and you secure that everyone knows what you actually want.
Right.
Because if you don't say what you want, the doctor's going to follow, right, with good intent. The husband's going to follow with good intention whatever is being given from the outside. That's why a lot of men, you know, like they hold their wife's hand. It's like, you know, and try to soothe her while she's being abused in front of his eyes, and he doesn't even see it for what it is.
Right.
You know, and in the end, everyone feels messed up, and you don't even know why, because didn't you do everything that you could in that situation, you know? No, not to mess it up, to try to do everything.
Yeah, but then again, I think
but you're not aware of it. If you don't know, you're not aware of it.
Communicating the right expectations.
Yes. And
yeah, back to your story. Sorry. We're never gonna finish the story, are we?
By 12, no. And then the part is where it got juicy, is when the doctor's shift was ending, and they really wanted to do a cervix check, because until then their paper said my blood pressure, and that's it.
Oh wow.
They didn't get any data from me.
Yeah, there was no
data.
Was
no cervix
she was
check.
dataless.
There was no cervix check. There was no ongoing CTG, because I didn't go into the hospital to then be hooked up to a CTG.
Right.
I just went there to choose the birth location, basically. So I changed a couple of things in the room. I moved the chair there. I put the bed all the way up. I put my pillow on the window seating so I could look out.
So she kind of made the setting of the birth how she wanted it. And that makes a big role, because you automatically start feeling in control.
100%. So whenever they would come and like, don't you want to lay down? Okay, can we check you? And how they ask me, really nice, you know, like, no, thank you, I don't want, you know. And then they're like literally, like, sometimes they just left without saying anything. They just turn around and left the room.
Like, okay,
like, okay, what?
We don't know. They never
speechless.
Speechless. They've never dealt with something like this.
But it's not a fight situation. Like, no, thank you. You know, not now, maybe later. You know, it's not always about saying no. It's like, okay, just like, what about stalling? What about delaying things?
Yeah.
So, you know, it was my rotation between going to the bathroom, walking around, and then they were really pushy, really, really pushy. I don't want to go into too much detail. You can read that birth story
Yes,
on
the
the
backstory.
details there. So I agreed to one cervix check because she was so persistent and not leaving the room, and I really wanted her out of the room. So I, again, you know, I
Informed
agreed to it.
decision, yes.
I agreed to it under coercion. Okay.
Right.
I was not given the choice of no because I said no and she was not taking the no.
No, right.
Okay. And again, my husband, who's very supportive, was not reading the room at that time of how, like,
What she
you know,
needed, yeah.
what, no, because it's not, you know, like if you don't know, you don't read that
You don't
danger,
read it,
you know?
yes. That's
So
what you need to know.
I don't hold a grudge against him or anything.
Yeah,
No,
because
it's like,
he didn't know. He's excused.
and also how bad that is. Only a woman who's had fingers in her cervix has a chance of an idea, if you
Of how
weren't
bad
drugged
that is.
that much at that time that you didn't feel it, how it is when you have that done, you know. And she checked and she was like, 9.5. Your pain tolerance is really high. Okay. And then she left the room. She left. I was like, okay, well, bye-bye.
You
know?
succeeded in what you wanted.
She left the room and one nurse stayed. And I'm like, okay, are you staying the full time? She's like, yeah, I'm staying. Okay. I was like, make sure nobody touches me. Don't you want to go on the bed? I'm like, no, I need like solid ground under my feet. Okay. And within
What,
I know
next
minutes,
minutes?
I gave birth.
Yep. And she
Into
didn't.
my own hands.
And this
standing in front of the
flying
bed.
baby, where is she? Yeah, so the
It,
baby.
it flew into my hands, you know. Again, before that, did I feel scared? No, but I was aware. I was like, okay, I am standing and I don't want my baby to drop on the floor.
Of course.
But I'm also very like I'm zoned out, but I'm also very present. I'm not drugged. My mind is there. My intuition is there. My capability is there. I'm not physically handicapped. And your hands can reach. I'm willing to do what it needs to keep my baby safe, because that's what we all do ultimately. We all do that.
Honestly, animals do that. And we are ashraful makhluqat. We are humans, the best of the creations. So the animal has the instinct to keep their young safe.
And we've birthed our babies for how many years, you know, before the hospitals came in place, you know.
So I think as a human, let's not demean our own creation. That's my point.
Yeah. So baby was born. Oops, you already gave birth? Okay, that was that experience. Was that exhausting? Tremendously. After that, I was so exhausted because I was the whole time like on fire.
Yeah, but not exhausted enough to
what? No, to birth? No.
Have another
To have
baby.
another? No, because after that, it's like, man, you just achieved freaking birth. Whatever, you know, people tell you you can't, or you know, like, okay. So then, you know, family planning 5.0.
Shut up.
I got pregnant again, and I was just thinking from the moment I got pregnant, and I sat the first time, I was like struck by that. You know, I was like,
I remember
your message. And then I did the math. You know, I was like, okay,
what did I just do?
Then me being me, I'm like, okay, let's do this. You know, and then I
remember your message, and I was like, what did she say?
Yeah. So this time I was like, okay. We always level up, right? We don't want to go like, I mean, why would we repeat something that we didn't like?
Yes, there you go.
Why do you repeat something that hurt you? Why do you do something that you know caused you something bad? Okay?
Yes.
If you choose that, then you need to ask yourself why. Like,
what's wrong with me?
Sit with yourself and ask yourself why.
Emily,
and you will get an answer. You will get an answer.
So let me just tell her kids' names. So there's Layan, Allahumma barik, then there's Safiya, then Muhalhal, who we call Bubu, because Muhalhal is a very difficult name for me, at least. Okay, sorry. Judging your children's names.
There's the one with the Pakistani names that I can barely pronounce sometimes.
Sorry.
You learn. I learned Muhalhal, you know. I never thought I'd have a child.
Oh, well, that's
named, you know. Then comes my German baby.
Yeah. Then she has Emily. So Emily's the fourth one. Fifth pregnancy, but fourth baby.
Yeah, and then my sixth pregnancy, my fifth baby.
How close were the last two pregnant? Saira, they were too close.
Nothing. They're not even Irish twins.
Yeah, okay, they're not Irish twins. Okay, not that.
I got pregnant when Emily was like 9 months.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, I think 9 months.
Yeah.
Anyway, I only did the math later on.
You did it later. She did the math later.
Yeah. Well, I feel blessed because now
Good at that.
I'm done and I'm still, I mean, I don't feel as young anymore because, you know, when you fill out surveys,
Saira saying perfect. I know what's happening behind her mind as
Goodness.
well.
you know, when you fill out surveys and you have to cross which age category you're in, now it's like 35 to 50. I'm like in the older.
Yeah.
I'm 35. Now I have to click. I can't cheat and just press the other category of like younger people. So, you know, older and a bit wiser.
I'm not gonna even say anything because I'm older than her.
So you've been wise for a longer time than me. So I said this time, okay, what do I want with this baby? Okay. I confirmed the pregnancy, that it's, you know, that there's a heartbeat and there's a baby. And then after that, I was like, I think I'm pretty much done. Like, I don't want anything that doesn't make me feel good. And I want to really lean and tune into my body, what I want, what I feel. And if there's something
we're
that
starting
doesn't
the
feel right,
birth story, the actual birth story, why we did this session an hour later. Just to let
that's still good on time for us.
Yeah, we're good on time.
At least we've got to start. Else we need to do part 2. You know?
Part.
We might consider that.
Yeah.
And then I asked my husband, do you want to know the gender? And he's like, yeah. And this was the last time I went to the doctor, and we got confirmed that it's a boy. And after that, I didn't feel like it just was like the feeling was like against me to set up an appointment and to sit there and to wait and to check something that, like, what would it give me? You know, I asked myself, like, what information, what benefit do I carry out of that when I feel my belly is growing, when I feel my baby is growing?
I was just thinking of you. Because exactly what I felt with the same with her. Yeah.
And when the support that I can expect there is nothing of what I wish for. Right. So what I have wanted, for example, a midwife that comes to my house and that you know, is there to talk with me about the birth, the wishes, my fears, my expectations, to treat me like a human being and not just a vessel that has a baby in it, to like just check with the scan and then say, oh, it's measuring slightly, I don't know, bigger, smaller, whatever, up, down, you know, there's always a result that you take out of the doctor's office, and it's barely ever something positive. There's always something that leaves you with like a bad taste of something. And then oftentimes 3 weeks later, whenever they call you back, oops, it was nothing, it's all fine. And then the next thing is put to you, you know? And then, you know, like, I don't know, it's like there's always something that leaves you like a need to go back. And it's like this dependency of like a hate-love relationship. It's not like this doctor really truly cares for me so much as I always hear that. And I also experienced that, like the rush of appointments, you wait for a long time to be seen for a short time. And, you know, like, sometimes there's a doctor who like takes more time out to talk to you, but then at another time they don't. So rarely ever it's like, okay, truly with your needs, you like it's like rarely ever that your true needs are met. So I said, you know, I don't want this headache. Plus, I'm juggling 4 children at home. So to actually go for that appointment, it's not like when I had my first pregnancy.
Yeah, you're free. You don't have
my first pregnancy. This was the only thing I was doing. So every 3 weeks, I was going for baby TV and I was checking on my baby, right? Then with the second one, I was like, okay, going for checkup is a nice break. My Layan can stay with her grandmother, and I have a little break. And then with my last baby, I was like, no, I don't think I want to take time out of my day every couple of weeks to go for something that doesn't make me feel good, doesn't give me actual data of like how my baby is doing, while I feel okay. Again, you know, while I feel okay.
While you feel okay, that's an important thing. Yeah.
Like
no extreme measures, please.
You know,
keep that in mind.
It's always about, okay, to say to someone, just don't do anything. That doesn't work. Yeah. No. That doesn't work.
No, that's not gonna. That's
you know.
That's never
just
something.
To tune in with yourself and to actually feel, because you know, nature is actually showing you a lot of things, like, you know, that the baby is gradually growing. You can feel it on your clothes. You can feel, unfortunately, you know,
like there was one whole hour of me being sad. There is no baby heartbeat, and just an hour later, the scan is found a pulse again.
Yeah, you know. So, but again, ask yourself, why did you go there at that time? No, I'm okay. Why did you go there at that time? And why did you need the validation of the pregnancy at that moment? When you also know that there is still a chance of them not finding it because it's not obvious enough in terms of development.
Yeah.
It always says something, and I mean this with a loving heart.
It's
Because we seek confirmation from outside.
Lana, my perspective on this is there is an ayah of the Quran, and again, يَعْلَمُ مَا فِي الْأَرْحَامِ. It's not said about an ultrasound. It's not said about a human. It's not said about a doctor. It's not said about any equipment, about a Doppler, nothing. يَعْلَمُ مَا فِي الْأَرْحَامِ مِنْهُ who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's it. And that's where I think I draw a line. That yes, these things could be supportive, could be helping us, for sure. Let's use them as asbab. But ultimately, the true ilm al-ghayb, we should have our faith on that. And I feel that is where we are going wrong as Muslims. This is where the faith is going wrong. And that is a very strong message. I keep trying and reminding women that, look, where are you putting your faith in? Just question yourself once.
And then that's the question. Okay, we go. Why? Because there is so much fear-mongering over the years, the way how we see birth, the way how, you know, a young woman that's not even married yet, when you ask her about birth, you will hear all kind of messed up stuff, and she has no experience, personal experience yet, you know? So, like, I asked myself, why am I sharing my story today? You know, what's the purpose of it? Is to hear that there is different way of thinking about pregnancy and birth, and is it the ultimate solution for everyone, or the truth? Yes and no. It's not. It's available to everyone. You choose what you believe in. You know, everyone in the end, they choose what they believe in and what they go with and how we limit ourselves. But a lot of our limitations are there from when we are growing up, from our childhood, from everything.
From the womb.
From the womb.
There you go.
Yes.
You just said, what is in the womb?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So everything starts, and then it's time to question all of this. You know, again, coming back to the arrogance of like, I'm not arrogant to say I don't need a doctor.
No.
You know, if I have something where I need a doctor, I go and I appreciate and I respect doctors. Do I need a doctor to tell me I'm pregnant or not? No. Do I need a doctor to tell me whether I'm healthy or not? No. You know what I mean? It's like, by default, you're okay until you're proven not to be okay.
It's like, and I'm not pregnant right now, and she isn't.
I'm not.
She's doubting herself.
I'm not. No, I don't want you to spread any wrong, like false rumors.
Rumors. And imagine your husband was like, well, Lana, what are you?
No, my announcement? No way.
No. But my point is that I'm not expecting right now. I'm feeling fine. Alhamdulillah. I'm not having a symptom. Do I go monthly or even more frequently to check, is my stomach doing okay? Is my liver doing okay? Is my whatever part of the body doing okay? No.
Right? So when you understand that pregnancy is a huge market of money making, huge. Yeah. Like the moment you want to get pregnant, you can already spend a lot of money. Right. You know, a lot of money. Anyway, so we're going back to Basil's birth. Yes. Where did we stop? Okay, I was at the hospital.
So she decided that all is good.
No, I wasn't at the hospital.
No, you decided that all is good. I'm feeling good. I don't need to go too frequently, unnecessarily.
I didn't go
because she had 4 kids waiting at home, and she chose wisely.
I didn't go anymore. What I did do is I went and I checked with my hematologist because I did have low iron before. I had some issues with my blood work, so I followed up on that, and I had an iron IV.
So I just want to interrupt. So it's not that you skip a well-being check if you feel that's what you need. I'm just saying I don't need to expose my baby in ultrasounds, and I think we've covered that because Zabe is my current group. We've covered that in session 6.
But the question is, why do you do it?
Yeah,
because you're told, see you in 4 weeks. So like, do you want to go?
Do you want monthly scans, which are being now linked with speech delay in children? No.
What's the benefit? Again, always use your brain.
Yeah, well, if you know she's going to do an ultrasound, that's where you need to step up and protect yourself and your child. Your baby's counting on you to protect it.
You know, that's a big thing about your baby is not just existing once it's born.
Right.
Your baby is there from once you're pregnant. That's why, I don't know, you take care when you go do an X-ray or whatever, like it exists already. We can't see it, but it exists.
Yes, exactly.
And our children, once they're born, for sure, but even from before they're born, they count on our protection. And this is, this is not, I don't say this as a point of fear-mongering, but like, you have a responsibility for yourself and your baby, and to hand it over
To someone.
means to a system, not even to someone,
Yeah.
to a system. It ensures that things are done that just don't serve you.
Mm.
They don't serve your bank account.
No.
Okay. They don't serve
Your mental peace.
your mental peace, your physical health, and your baby's health. So to be intentional, okay, do I need this checkup now? Do I want to delay it? Can I just call and say, excuse me, I can't come for this appointment after tomorrow. Can you please reschedule me in, I don't know, in a month later or something?
That's exactly. That's
it's again, it's not the all or nothing. If it gives you mental peace to go and have a check done, please go for it. If you feel shitty after, then you maybe want to consider going to a different doctor. Depends, like sometimes they say really mean things to you. They make you feel like you're an incapable child, which is super mean. Like how is that the person that's supposed to encourage me, empower me, keep me safe, if they are bullying me,
Right.
While I'm pregnant, as if I'm not able to take care of myself, whether it's be it my weight gain or my way of life, or whatever I do. When there is something that stings, like, listen to that and don't dismiss it, because in the end, isn't that the person that you count on having as support later on?
No, the government doesn't require any of those. She's in Kuwait. She had her babies in Kuwait. I had mine in Kuwait. It's whenever you want to schedule it. Yeah, whenever you want to schedule it, you schedule it. You tell them the date, and
again, you take responsibility for your choices, and not everything that is said to you is an actual rule of that you have to follow.
Where is the policy? Where is the law? Show it to me. And they often won't.
And I want to invite everyone who's listening to, why don't you practice to say, no, thank you.
Yeah, and don't miss it. Just schedule it ahead and in time. Yeah.
But you can also, no, thank you. And then you will see what is the reaction. The reaction is like, the power shifts. It's like, okay, so when would you like to come back?
Yeah.
So when would you like to come back?
Right.
Okay. And then suddenly it's an option that you can choose. Well, before it was like, see you after, I don't know, X weeks,
Okay. So it's, instead of coming in this way, it's coming this way.
Exactly. Then it's a communication, not just I take whatever they give me, right? So
okay, back to Basil.
Yes. So with Basil, I opted out of that. And then when it came closer to the birth, like my husband would ask me every now and then, like, so what's your plan? I'm like, well, I don't want to go to any hospital. Like I would say, I don't want to go anywhere. And I really didn't want to go anywhere. I did not have the idea.
And so just her husband, I was also asking her, Lana, what's the plan?
Yes. And I just said, I'm going to give birth wherever, and I just knew I'm not going to give birth. What I did know
what she wanted, because like I said, we are very close in that sense that we talk about these things, like the intimate details of these things. She did want an autonomous.
I wanted peace.
A peaceful birth.
I wanted peace around me. I didn't want anybody, not one person who didn't believe in me.
Yes.
Who didn't believe in whatever I choose is good, who doubted me or even looked at me like wanting it to fail.
Right. And then there was a time she's like, Hafsa, can you be my doula? I'm like, yeah, but the whole thing laws. Someone was talking about laws here. I'm like, yeah, but I'll see you in the hospital. But then I think it was her du'as, honestly. And Allah saw the sincerity in her. That my mindset shifted. I'm like, okay, eventually I said, Lana, when you need me, I can be there with you, right? Where I could not find a law.
Which is to me, the final, to me, as a doula, if you're truly serving women, right? Not any doctor, not any hospital, like as a doula, as a birth keeper, whatever you want to call it, traditional. I mean, there are a ton of names these days.
Yeah,
but like,
I wouldn't do it for everybody.
If you want to support a woman during birth, okay,
you have to support her unconditionally.
You choose to say yes, and she chooses to be in whatever situation, and you choose, and like it's again, this is about trust and not tricking.
And both sides, both ways.
But you ask yourself, okay, when you say no to something, why? Is it my own fear? Forget about legalities.
Yeah,
it's your own fear.
It was.
It's your own fear.
It was exactly that.
It's your own fear.
Then I was like, wait a minute, this is Lana I'm talking about. It's not some person like someone I don't know. I mean, I eventually get to know my mom's, but she is someone I'm extreme. Like it's like a sister, more than a sister, maybe even, right? I love you.
That was where the tears are supposed to happen.
No,
I'm
not
too, I'm
tears.
too on a high, like
she's not gonna cry. We're gonna be like big jugs of coffee in front of us.
right? I'm super caffeinated now, like a triple shot.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I was like, yeah, okay. Well, خلاص, I'm there. I'll support you.
Whatever happens,
Yes.
happens. And this was my mindset was like I was at such peace because I knew whatever happened. We forgot to put the birdies away. Okay.
Oh, do you hear the birds behind
Yeah,
us?
it's
I hope we're louder than the birds.
We are. They're like they want to listen, you know.
I'm hoping that we get some eggs.
Well, maybe they get broody after all this talk. They love, you know, baby making. Are they a couple?
Yeah.
Perfect. I love it. I have to talk to them later.
You talk to them. I don't like them.
Okay. And then I just knew, like throughout this whole pregnancy, every day, I said to myself, I want to have a good experience. I deserve to have a good experience. I don't want to compromise for anybody or anything. And I know that all my decisions are based on wanting the best for me and my baby, to protect us. And I really managed that time to tune in with my body and to make decisions that served me. So I did not go to, I did go for my husband when he wanted to find out the gender, because I was fine with having a surprise, but I also didn't mind.
Right.
You know, so that was okay with me. I knew beforehand what's going to happen at that appointment. And you kind of,
as long as you're okay with it,
yes,
you accept it, that's fine.
And also you don't go to seek and so what's going on? You tell me. And you, okay, like you shut off any feelings of yourself that you may have. Oh wow, now look, yeah, someone is agreeing with me big time. And then it doesn't affect you like that. You know, you're not taking every word and, like in Germany would say, you put it on a scale where gold is measured.
Yes,
like
right.
The big heavy weight of that. And yeah, then birth happened. Like, you know, and the time of birth, like being
how many weeks were you?
39 plus 3. And this was my, oh no, plus 5, sorry.
Okay.
Or something like that. I don't remember.
Let me give my version a little bit before she jumps in back to her version. So, okay, alhamdulillah, her pregnancy is going fine. And this pregnancy of her, Lana and I, we met a lot. We would talk a lot. She happened to attend a few births. I was attending births. I'm always attending, like, you know, with the moms and stuff. We would talk a lot. Then she comes, like, it's near her due date. It was around this time. Remember, she did I was just looking at the baby carrier sale thing. She did it in March, but she was like, I'm not doing it in May, although I was traveling in June. She could have done it later, but she's like, no, I'm going to be busy with the baby. She wants to get things done and dusted.
Right.
So that's why she did it in March. Inshallah.
Unlike this year.
No, but then I'm not going now.
Right,
I'm not going next month. I'm going into
No, we'll get it done.
We'll get it done. We were supposed to get it done
Whoever is here to know that information, we gotta get it done.
Yeah, we almost started something about
we
it
will
today.
get it done. Yeah, I know.
Okay. So as she's approaching birth, I'm seeing a shift in her. I'm seeing the surrendering. I'm seeing I
was all in. I was all in. The moment happened where khalas, that's it. I am all in. There was no more negotiation. There was no more doubt. There was no more possibility of anything else.
There you go. And this all in has another name. What do you guys think? Those that know me. What do you think this all in was the name? What do I call that? Anyone? Any idea? The moment she knew that this is what she wanted.
What did I do?
You didn't, no, you didn't do anything.
No, what did I do then? What did I do?
Surrender.
Exactly.
This was her surrendering to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, exactly. And honestly, looking at her, my iman was increasing every single day. And that's what I tell her. Looking at everything she does and how things go, I was like,
because I brought it down to you with explanations, you know, which you needed.
It made
because
it sense.
You're the one that needs the data, the fact.
Yes, and that's every person processes things differently.
Exactly.
And I was like, yeah, okay. And then I was praying for her equally, but I'm sure it's her own intentions and stuff. And I was like, yeah, Allah, this amazing woman, she's doing so much for so many people. She's so dear to me. Just I don't know what's going to happen on the day. She doesn't know. No one knows. This is ilm al-ghayb. Just make it the best. That's what my du'as were. And with Ramadan was happening and everything. And just like I would pray for my sisters, like I pray for every single blessed mama of mine, Lana was on there as well. Right? And should I make you my blessed mama? Do you want to join my blessed mama's groups now? The ones you are.
More groups?
Yeah, they're not. You're
We
not
have
in
like
those.
60 plus. Yeah, I'm in.
So yeah, without taking the classes though, because you don't need those.
No,
You probably need to
I
give me
took
classes.
I took
Yeah, anyway. So that's when this was the surrendering I saw. And then I saw her doing things that were needed. And it was not that, oh my God, I need to start exercising. I need to start doing. I saw her do stuff for herself. She was prioritizing herself. And the one thing that stood out, because we went together in that as well, and we would plan things together as well, she started taking care of herself, pampering. She's like, she likes a massage. She started to go for regular massages.
while taking care of my kids.
Obviously, whenever she
Without-
got a chance.
It's like, because I don't want this to sound like, I just
Ditch the kids.
ditched everyone and be like, this is the only thing. But you need to make time to sit
Right.
with yourself, to actually think about what do I want and do these things, and not just be like, yeah, okay, I want to have a natural birth, or I want to have a home birth, or I want to have
Right.
whatever it is that you want. I want to have a VBAC. And then just you keep going with your life, and you don't take any time out of your day
Yes.
ever, because you're too busy. You're all too busy.
Right.
We
Life is busy. I never have enough hours in my life.
So
Wallah.
what really boosted me, I like this perspective of yours, because your perspective on my birth is a bit different than
Yes,
my own.
that's exactly true.
But it's like talking to you, talking to someone who is not like, oh, but Lana, don't you think? And what if? Like, you held the space for me to not fearmonger me,
Yes.
and to say, I didn't need you as to cheer me on, but I just needed someone I can tell what I want to do without calling me crazy,
Right.
And it wasn't about even the location of birth or what, it doesn't matter whether you are in a hospital or in a
No,
birth center
never.
or at home or
Never.
alone with a midwife or
It's
what.
where you feel safe. It's where you want it. It's that you are doing
You
what
choose
is
for
right.
yourself.
Yes.
You-
Because when you make a decision for yourself, it's not something forced onto you. You will be content.
Yeah.
And your contentness,
you hold no grudge against
you
yourself.
you don't feel guilty. You feel like, okay, you feel empowered with that decision.
Yeah.
Even if it's a repeat C-section, go for it. I'll support you in that as well. But talk to me before you do that.
But again, why do you choose what you choose? Is it based on fear?
Yes.
Is it based on that you're scared? I heard the numbers, this and this can happen. And, again, do you make a decision out of fear? Do you make a decision out of love?
Right.
Do you
Exactly.
love yourself?
Yes.
And that's big. I feel, I used to feel rude asking someone like, do you love yourself? Do you actually love yourself? Because it was something that triggered me a lot, because
Yeah, because then we're like, we're not
I-
expected to love ourselves.
yeah, exactly. We expect to love everyone else, and
But
then
not ourselves.
exactly, because that's so selfish.
So let me ask all of you right now. Do you love yourself?
Do you make your decisions
Yes, based on
out
the
of
fact that you
love
love
for
yourself.
yourself?
Because if you can't do,
we sacrifice for our babies. Again,
yes,
it's not about,
that's a
it's like,
different.
what
Yeah,
about us?
sacrifice is different. If you don't love yourself, you really can't serve from an empty cup. Right? You need to make sure yours is full as well.
And whatever you fill it with. For me, the biggest filler, like, for example, going massage, like, okay, you can go and get your nails done, you can go for a massage. That's all not
That's
gonna give you the birth
that's
you want.
one example. That's what she wanted. She
That's
did
like
it.
that was
That's
something
one
for
small
me
example.
where I
could be hugging my kids, and that's what I want.
right. All of that. Actually, speaking of hugging my kids, I used to hug my belly and really connect and talk to my
Yes,
baby.
that's what I did with my third. I didn't do it with my first two.
And to let's get finally into the birth. The day
I used to talk to Halima, like when I was expecting her, I used to talk to her, especially because her birth was at 42 weeks almost. I was there.
Right.
And I was like, baby, mama is happy that you're inside, but I do want to hold you. And I felt that connection. You want to connect with your baby, right? So please start doing that. And that's what I saw that, like I'm saying,
and that's free. You can do it
Yeah.
anywhere, but it needs the consciousness of the moment, and not like, okay, where do I have to go next? What's my thing to do? Because life is busy.
Life is not going to happen. Life is not. The moment, like we are born, the moment we start taking responsibility, it just goes on. It's like
Right.
it's like those little hamsters when they're running in a wheel,
Yeah.
right?
That's how it feels like many days, right? But you need to consciously say, okay, I'm stepping out of it for the moment.
Yes.
It's going to keep going, and I'll step back.
I'll step back in, because that thing will just keep going.
Right.
Subhanallah.
And surprisingly, things keep going even when you take a step back.
When you
Because
take a
we
step
think
back.
it will not, but
We think this world's gonna stop if
And-
I don't do anything.
and nobody comes and says, do you want to take a step back today? No, everyone's happy that you're staying in
I mean,
it,
for
you know?
example, a small example, yesterday I went to support my friend. I don't know if she's online right now. I went to support my friend. She had to talk at the expo. I was like, okay, let me go and support you. But because I had been going for 2 days, I was like, okay, I'm just going to be there for a bit because I have something to do in the afternoon. I'll come back home early. Once I reach there, they tell me that one of the other ones who was supposed to teach one of the workshops, she's not feeling well. Hafsa, can you step in? And it is something I'm passionate about. You guys know what I do, what we both do, comes from utmost passion. If someone tells me, Hafsa, what would you do in early labor to boost your oxytocin? Guess what I'll do. Guess what I would do. I'll gather you guys online. I'll start teaching you. That's what I would do. That's what I'm passionate about. I swear.
You're committed. No. You make everyone breathe with you.
All right. Yeah, you guys would remind me to breathe. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like,
The
okay.
best labor prep, by the
So
way.
I call my husband. I'm like, Habibi, this something is coming up. I'm not forced to do it. I would like to do it. And he's like, yeah, sure. I'm like, yeah, but I forgot to take out the chicken, and there was a story behind the chicken. I'll tell you later. It's sitting. I forgot to do this. I forgot. He's like, it's okay. Go. And we had to buy shoes for Sleiman. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. Once you finish, we'll go buy shoes later. I'm like, okay, good. And then I had the other thing that I kind of had to contact. It was an Amani birth thing. I contacted, and she was like, yeah, no problem. And I thank if my one of those mentors are online, I thank them. And then I'm like, yay, okay. I got to enjoy more of the expo. I got to enjoy, you know what the word Azim means?
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's his name, but the word, what does
No.
Azim mean? Great.
Okay. Well,
He was being great.
he grew into his name, you know, with you.
At that moment. No.
With you.
With me. Yeah, with me.
Of
Thank you.
course.
Thank you. So I got to enjoy more. I got to help them more, do more what I was passionate about. I enjoyed myself. And then in the middle, I call them, all good. He's like, all good. I'm like, I don't want to know the details. I come back home. I'm like, yeah, so what did you do about food? Oh, the kids are super happy. Baba got his pizza.
Of course.
And all was good. Life went on.
Right.
Well, the stuff that I was worried about, just
But you could
figure
have
it
also
out.
said, sorry, I can't, and stay in your wheel.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
could
and
have.
keep
Yeah,
going.
I could have refused and just come back home and
Right.
go back to the grind.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. So her stuff, I saw her do things that she knew would help her birth. And it was coming instinctively.
Yes, and it's not something like, okay, what exactly do I need to do? It was a lot of like, okay, I want this, but what helps me to get there? Like, why are we talking for so long about like what happened even before labor happened?
Yes.
Because labor is like such a small part.
Labor, if we talk labor, our talk would be done in 5 minutes.
Kind of. So everything that led up to it was like, okay, I am not freaking out.
Yeah.
I'm not freaking out. I'm not stressing out.
She's surrendering.
And then my husband would, maybe sometimes like say something like along the lines of like, yeah, like we really didn't talk in too much detail about the home option. I said, you know what, I'm good. You don't need to stress because I'm good without you.
Yeah, there you go.
It's
So
like
she
like
assured
I'm-
him. She assured
Same
his
thing with
spirit
you.
as well. Yeah.
with everyone.
With me
It's
as well.
like, okay, I was like, okay,
Faith.
my dua was like, ya Allah, let me be okay with whatever I am, with whoever I am, sustain me, because this is the promise he gave us in Quran, like to we are capable of birth. And in Surah Maryam, nobody was with her. It's like, okay, what do you actually need? It's like this,
And as Muslims, yeah, as a Muslim, if we are not using our Quran to teach us basic lessons, what are we doing? Just question yourself.
you go to nature.
Hmm?
Yeah, my sister-in-law, she's not Muslim. She's like, Lana, after going into all of the details, how would anyone just like believe all of that?
Yeah.
And go for the whole shebang?
Right.
It's like my friend, she just swallowed 16 pills for induction and it didn't work. And it's like, how? Because when you start to question with an open mind and an open heart, you will see a lot of flaws and faults. And it's not your body. It's the from the outside trying to control birth, right? Because that's what
Yeah,
it all
that's the
comes down
control.
to, you know?
So
Trying
this
to
is
control something that's
the
not
opposite
controllable.
of control is surrender.
Yeah.
Always remember that.
And the opposite of fear is love.
Yeah, there you go.
So, the day of birth, when
The
I
day
didn't
of
know it's birth.
Yes.
Okay.
So we did a spa together as well. Not the day of birth. Before that, the Royal Hayat one.
Yeah, that was because we
couple
did
of
a
days.
lot.
Yeah, we
I
had
did
a lot. She did a
I
lot,
did a
and
lot
then we
of-
would hang out as well. We would talk as well, etc. Then on the day of birth, I was like, the day before, we were like, okay, I had to get my nails done, and I was like, okay, how about what day did you give birth?
It was a Saturday.
So it was a Sunday. Weekday mornings are my free time, right? So I said, okay, Sunday morning.
No, it was a Saturday. It was a Saturday.
Saturday night.
Yeah, Saturday
Yeah, so
night.
Sunday we both were supposed to meet.
Yeah, right.
So Lana and I planned Sunday
And
morning.
on Saturday morning, I told you I think I'm
Yes,
not up for it.
yes.
Let's
Yeah,
schedule
so
for after.
Friday we planned that Sunday, because weekend, Friday, Saturday is a weekend here. Friday we planned that Sunday, Lana and I, we will go to a salon and I'll get my nails done and she can get some more pampering done. We kind of planned this. Saturday morning, she calls me. She's like, Hafsa, rain check. I don't feel like it. Like driving all the, see, you do live at a distance. Driving all the way to pick me up and go for that. I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, also the idea of having, you know, like
She was having some good Braxton Hicks. Okay. And she had planned for
I don't like Braxton.
Yeah.
No men in the room here.
Yeah, no men in the room. She doesn't
I
like
had
the fact
some-
that
I
they're
had
named
some-
after a man.
I had some
practice
contractions.
pains.
I had some contractions here and there, which
Yeah.
I know it's normal, but
Very
it's part
normal.
of birth. It
That's
doesn't.
part of birth.
It's part of also pre-birth because you have contractions here and there even during your
Yeah.
pregnancy,
Yes,
right?
Of course, yeah.
Which is great because it shows you, hey, my body's functioning.
Yes.
Anyone telling you you don't go into labor is like, who are you to tell me that?
Yeah.
You're just not patient enough. To
No
even
one
wait for
stays
it, you know?
pregnant forever. Always remember that.
Yeah, but it's your choice whether you know, like
Don't digress, she's saying. Keep
it's nothing up. Okay.
we
So
okay, Maha, sorry.
so when we go into that day, I had my kids' friends were over, and I really was like, I remember I made myself a fruit platter,
Yeah,
and
she
I
sent a
was
picture
taking
of that.
I was taking rest, and I was really like, okay, I want to do things that serve me because we're really bad at that as women.
Yeah, we do.
We are serving everyone, and you know we're pregnant, even heavily pregnant, and we're still running the errands.
Don't
and we're
digress.
doing this and we're doing that. And then I said, okay, this evening I really wanted to go to a Turkish Turkish hammam. So whoever doesn't know what that is, it's like a Turkish bath where you get scrubbed down and you sit in the jacuzzi and you get go in like a steam bath and like the whole shebang where you feel just like after like, wow, I'm like a newborn baby myself. And it's just amazing. And knowing that I can't go there just after birth was like, okay, I really want to do
before I
give
gave birth, yeah.
So although that day I had like a few contractions here and there, I was like, no, this is my last thing that I'm gonna do. And after that, like I can retire.
Yeah, and that's when we said, okay, we're not doing Sunday anymore.
Exactly.
I told her, go ahead with your day planned. If you need me, let me know.
So I met my friends at the hammam.
Not me, other friends.
No, it was other friends. We were the four of us, and it was such a relaxing experience. And I really listened to my body. I didn't stay for a too long time in the jacuzzi because what is quite warm. I didn't want to get dizzy or anything.
Yeah, she was being visible.
And it was just so good. And I had a contraction here and there. And it was just like, oh, life is good, man. Spending like, contractions while you're in a jacuzzi or while you're being pampered is the best way to be.
That's what I tell my mamas. Many of them are from Pakistan and you get this massage lady to come to you.
Joke. To many, it's a joke. It's literally like,
they're like,
I can't
do
do
that
now.
Exactly. How can you do a massage when you're having contractions? Well,
it's like,
you
now,
do it.
Shouldn't I be focused on labor now? No. Should I be ignoring and pushing it away? Also, no. But like, why the moment, I like that you're leaning back now.
Yeah, because I'm not listening to you.
Because the moment when things actually happen, what happens if you hyper focus on them and you try to measure everything that happens and you go nuts?
Right.
Like, why is this not progressing? Why is this taking so long? And then if you tell other people, they're like, huh? So what's the deal? What's going on?
Yeah.
And then they start to put their fears and doubts on you. And then you have a whole lot of drama. And you know what?
You didn't need drama.
No, I want to say something way worse.
Okay, tell me.
You love drama.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? We all love drama, some more, some less, and we have to get rid of that. Okay? Like birth is not a drama zone.
Thank you.
Okay? Don't
Thank you.
create drama. Ask yourself before you make this responsibility again. Like, all right, I'm supposed to tell my family when I go into labor. Do whatever. Just be responsible of the reactions. So you know your people, right? You know your birth team, you know your support team, you know the people around you, whether they're supportive or not. So you protect yourself. Right? So for example, not speaking, you know, and choosing to keep something, to protect something, that's a choice that you have. That's a power that you have, because keeping your mouth shut is, you think it's quite easy,
That's
right?
not power. I'm sorry.
No,
That's not abusive power, I feel.
no, it's a power that you have
Yourself. On
yourself,
yeah, as long as yourself.
to
Yeah.
protect yourself. So you think about the difference. If I had told my husband, I'm here at the spa and I'm having some contractions, and you know, like, he would have gone nuts. Okay. Even me telling my friends, because those contractions were like, we're talking like 2 an hour, 1 an hour,
Yeah,
one
like,
every 2 hours. Yeah,
I
we're not
would be
talking
like,
about like
good.
nothing I would measure. You know, if I had told you, you know, I'm having something here running.
I would have told her as a doula that you too.
Exactly.
Nothing's gonna happen.
So so panic doesn't help. And then, you know, like pushing validation from outside is okay. To tune in with yourself and make a decision and be responsible for it. And, you know, and also being flexible. Like if I hadn't felt good the moment I left the spa, I would have called my husband and said, I don't think I'm fine to drive. Please pick me up.
Yeah.
I would have told my friend to please drop me home.
Yeah,
and then
she would
car
be
can be
realistic
sorted,
with
right?
herself that this is me being sensible now.
Right. And we are allowed to do that.
Yes,
you
of
know,
course.
like we are allowed that the car is now a problem that's, I don't know, our partner can solve, our family can solve to get back home. You know, prioritize, and you know, and not from a point of panic. Maturity and responsibility, because ultimately once you have that baby in your arms, you're supposed to be responsible, like 100%. You know,
start it from now.
So I went home and I was really glad to be home.
And then one of your kids burned your arms.
Diane, she burnt her hand that day. And when I actually saw it, because I only knew when I was in the hammam, when I came home, I saw, yeah, that's not looking too good. I brought her to the clinic in our area quick, and you know,
that was like around 9-ish, 9:30-ish.
9, yeah. And then when we left, and I went back to the car, and, you know, I lifted one leg up to get into the car, you know, like the what, how do you call it? The mile circuit,
the
right?
lunges, the Captain Morgan,
when you walk steps, basically.
Yeah, the curb walking.
Curb walking, okay? So that was my one curb walking step. That's all I got in, right? And then Leanne's like, are you okay? And all I did, I wasn't screaming or anything. I was like, she's like, are you giving birth? I'm like, no, let's go home. And then like 5 minutes later, we were home, and I didn't keep my calm to tell her or something and try to hide something. This is how I felt, right? And I called my family quick. I called my parents, you know, like took Leanne to hospital quick, you know, like staying in touch. And then at home, sent my daughter off to bed. Everyone was sleeping. I felt already so fresh right after the spa. And I said, okay, I'm just going to go and call it a day and, you know, preserve my energy and go to bed.
Yes. And she messages me, and I messaged to check in. We were in touch all day and stuff.
Right. So
I'm like, how is everything? That's when she tells me, she had told me, like, we were in touch about, she was updating me about Leanne's hand, and she told us about that car contraction. And it was, shall I open the chat? But it was 10:58. No, 10:48. I'm gonna say the numbers. I'm sorry. Numbers. 10:48. She says, like, you know, there was a few doubts here and there. There were some questions in some of the messages.
There was one message that I want to dig out. That was really powerful, because I only recognized how powerful that was later on. Because at that time, I did not understand what I was actually saying to you. Okay, when you go back to it,
okay, you have it faster than me.
Yeah. When you go back to it, I said something. Yeah, I'm not ready to have a baby right now, and all of that.
Yes,
you know,
that's what you said.
This was in the afternoon, but then in the evening, I'm going back to I said none of my babies was, you know,
it was like, I still have time until 40 weeks. None of my babies this. She said, I don't feel ready.
Yeah. And then I said one thing, this was 10 minutes before 11. I have a feeling these contractions are real. I'm a bit scared to say it because I could be wrong, but the fact that I asked my nanny to keep the monitor with Emily so I can sleep, and the way that the contractions feel, okay? The last time I had those contractions when I was in the hospital already with Emily.
So that's what she messaged.
Let's see, closing my eyes now.
Yeah.
I really want
this was at 10:49. So 10 minutes before 11 in the night. And I tell her, just relax and let
And then
go.
I said, I'm so relaxed. And I was really,
Yeah,
truly
so I
so
just said,
relaxed,
just
you know?
relax and let go. What is supposed to happen will happen.
Yeah.
Right?
And then
What else did I
19
write? Don't overthink. All is fine. You are fine. Baby is fine. Relax.
Yeah.
And that's what she said. Yes, exactly. So relax. And 10:51, that's it. And I put my phone down.
Yeah. And then
The
19
next-
minutes later,
Yes, 19 minutes later,
I sent you a
in-
screenshot because
she
then
sent
after
me
that,
just a screenshot of the
like
contractions.
6 contractions, I
Yes.
think, because at that time when
Now she fills in the gap. What happened in those 19 minutes?
so I wanted to close my phone. I'm like, oh, another contraction. Okay, so I was chilling in my bed. I was trying to sleep, and I was like, okay, while I'm holding my phone, right, I can just
Start and
record
stop.
it,
Yeah.
okay, because I'm anyway on the phone to give me an idea how long a contraction is, right? And these contractions they were, how to describe them? They were intense in a way that you really feel them. You know, like while you're pregnant, you have a contraction. Sometimes you touch your belly and you're like, oh, it's hard, but you don't really feel anything,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you feel something, but it's not painful. There's no stabbing or pushing or anything. It's just you feel this, you know, that your balloon is tight.
Right.
Okay. And you know, I always feel like in all of my pregnancies and all my births, even before, it's like, okay, why do you fight something? Why do you fight it? Like, what are you scared of, right? So only if you're super scared of birth, you would try to fight it because you don't want it to happen. Like, you know, it's time to happen now, but you don't want it.
Yeah, but when you let your
fight
fears
it,
go,
right?
you're not scared anymore.
So I felt those contractions. I timed them,
And she sends me a screenshot.
yes,
And then
and
the
then
next message is,
wait, and then you
Okay.
can see these contractions are really long.
yeah, they're long. They
Like,
were
they're
long.
long. They're like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
You know, like the full on
Yeah.
birth contractions.
They
right?
were like 90 seconds long. So this is where
And then I went to the bathroom because I really needed to go for a number 2. And I, you know, again, I didn't feel like getting out of my bed because I just got comfortable after the day. And I was like, okay, let me just ignore it and, you know, try to fall asleep. Another contraction. I really felt like, okay, I have to go poop. And I did actually go to the bathroom and I, you know, I pooped. My bowel emptied itself. That's when I sent you the screenshot and I just wrote pooping.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
so she
okay,
was sitting on the toilet. She sends me the screenshot and she's pooping at that
and
time.
then I wrote blood because then
Then
I
she
washed
wrote
up.
blood.
Okay, so you got that I was not pooping blood,
No,
obviously, you know.
of course I got
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, but some people are like, they don't get it, right?
They're like,
Because
oh, she's pooping blood.
I'm not in a situation of like writing like full on
Yeah, yeah.
sentences, you
For
know.
me, it was like, because of course, how close we are. I knew exactly what she was saying.
And then I couldn't chat anymore.
Yes.
Like I went off because why? Because I gave my husband the phone
Yes.
to put it because he came in and he's like, "Are you okay?" Because I was like, you know, I was making sounds. He's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I was like, "I'm just gonna go to the bathroom." Because he
Right.
was in the room and I just went to the bathroom. And then he heard me making sounds, and normally I don't make sounds when I'm in the room, you know?
Well, some people do.
Well, I don't. So my husband,
Some people
no, oh my gosh, no, I don't. So he came and he asked like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, he's coming. Like, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, what should we do? You know, like, do we go to the hospital?" I'm just thinking like, I'm not going anywhere. I can't go anywhere. Like I'm giving birth right now. So I was so struck by surprise because I didn't feel ready. I told you I'm not ready to have a baby on my boob now. I'm not ready to take care of I want to sleep, like, you know.
She just wanted to sleep.
I just wanted to sleep. Like my day was perfect, right? Until this point. It's like, you know, imagine like waking up next morning like freshly rejuvenated.
Yeah, we are not going to the salon. She wants to sleep.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
So, but there was no panic or anything.
Yeah,
So my husband was like, "Yeah, are we going?" I'm like, "No." And then he asked me, so cute. He asked me like, "Do you need a pillow?" Because I was standing there, right? So I just had washed off, and I'm like in my bathroom. And then I was my thought was like, why would I want a pillow? Like he probably
That's what I want to ask. Why would he think you need a pillow?
Because he probably
You're
knows
standing.
I gave birth standing before, so I might give birth standing.
So the baby.
So in case the baby flies, you know, right? Because people think that babies fly, and that we are not capable of, you know, catching them. Yeah. So he asked me, and I said, "I don't need a pillow. I'm good." And he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm okay." Right. And I have all this on video because I asked him to put my phone there. Yeah. I asked him to put his phone, but he was overwhelmed. And I totally understand that.
Lana caught him. We're
so luckily I was so in the moment. So he put the camera, so I have this video footage for myself, which is great because I watched it like a million times.
Of course.
Not a million, but I watched it like legit, like, I don't know, 20 times plus. In the beginning, I watched it like every day, a couple of times, like to just be in it. The high was really big.
Yes.
But the more times you watch it, you understand more. You see different things.
Yes.
You know? And one of the big things was like, I was so focused, but I was also so gone, you know, like I was so in the moment
You were giving
without
birth,
being in the moment. So you have all this trust and you have all this
but you were letting go.
power,
Your
but
body, you
yes.
don't control it anymore.
Yes. And then I told myself, I said, I can do this. You can do this. I don't remember if it was you or I, but I literally said this to myself. And I saw
Yes, you
myself in the
told me
mirror,
this.
right? It was in my bathroom. So I saw myself in the mirror. And because I was double checking whether or not the phone is recording me properly,
Yes,
because I really wanted to have this footage for myself. And then I was breathing through the contraction, and I was like, you know, breathing and, you know, making sounds. And then I opened my eyes, like the contraction finished, like, you know, it's always like the, you know,
Wave.
the wave. And then you have this moment of
Peace. Yeah.
breathing in between, where again, that moment is bigger, I feel, is bigger when you ride the wave better. Like the more you let go, the more recovery time you get. Because when you're so busy and, you know,
You have harder time releasing.
then you can, yeah, then the recovery is different because you're still also holding on. You don't believe that it just finished because you don't feel your body as much. So then I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really happening now, right?
Yes.
So, and then I realized, you know, like I don't want to stay on the toilet. I was sitting on the toilet, right? So I stood up, and the moment later, my baby was born. This was 10:14. This was 4 minutes after I went into the bathroom. I could feel his head, right? I could feel his head. I felt literally, I don't know how to describe that, but like again, you know, do you have that cervix there? You know, if like this, me trying to visualize, right? If you have the cervix, right, and the baby is there, after the cervix, right, is our
Vagina.
the birth canal, right? So it's like once the baby is through the cervix, doesn't mean baby is out of our body.
No.
The cervix is not sitting at the entrance of our right. So you
felt the descent.
You feel the descent, and it's crazy, Hafsa. It's so crazy because I could feel it. I did not have to feel any person. I didn't feel anyone's energy.
Influencing it.
Not just the presence of someone else. You're not distracted by
just by the presence of your baby.
So it was me and my baby, and I appreciate that so much because there was no distraction when it comes to that. And I felt it, and it was such a big connection. So I always thought about it, how does my baby feel during birth, right? It's like when there's a contraction, but how do we feel? Okay, but do we ever talk about how a baby feels, right? So the idea of my baby feeling that there's something going on, right? But my baby feels my heartbeat is okay.
Alhamdulillah.
My baby feels mama is fine, right? So they hear my voice, like my baby hears my voice, my baby feels my heartbeat. My baby is, I mean, more connection isn't possible than being in my body, right? So my baby is not scared. The idea of that, like my baby is not going through something traumatic, because yes, birth is intense, but birth is not like on its own, it's not a traumatic experience. It's an intense experience, but not traumatic. So I felt his head, right? And then he came out in one go. He came out in one go, and I had my hand on his head as he was born, and then I reached down with my other hand, and there was no doubt, just like with Emily before in the hospital, it was the same, exactly same. But minus that they were, you know, was this person in the room, and, you know, but that was the difference, the peace and the knowing of that I'm enough and that my baby's enough and that I don't need that saving and I don't need that, I don't know, I don't need to be rescued, and that Allah has given me the power, not because I'm different than anyone else, not because sometimes people like, they're like, yeah, but that's you because you have, stop this. Stop this.
Oh, you're not in this country, you're in this place, it's not this.
And don't put me on a pedestal because I'm the same human as everyone else, I'm the same woman as all the other women, but I chose not to put myself in a drawer that someone tried to put me in as needing help or being incapable or whatever. I chose to not believe any of that and put myself raw out there. Like, what do I want? What serves me? What do I deserve? What am I capable of? And who knows me better than me? Only Allah.
Only Allah.
Nobody knows. There's things that nobody knows about me, not even my husband, not even my kids, not even my best friends, right? But Allah knows everything, and Allah has created all of us with powers, and we experience that in all things of life, has equipped us with things that we didn't even know that we're capable of. I mean, once we
indeed.
become a mom, we are doing things that we never thought we could. Like I hear women that don't have kids yet, they're like, yeah, I don't know. Like I need my 10 hours of sleep. Yeah, cool. I needed them too before I became.
Sorry, we're back. I don't know what happened for a second.
Okay. The nerves, right?
The nerves, right? We're at the peak moment, something decides to happen.
I need a breather. I need to.
Right. Yes.
So stop this. Don't believe that. Don't just stop believing this. Ask yourself, okay, what's your fear? Okay, and why do you believe this? Do you need to believe this, or can you let it go? Do that work.
Right.
Don't just think about, okay, what's the numbers and what's this? Okay, what do I want and why do I want it? And can I achieve
That
it?
can be the process, but have the belief nicely.
Definitely.
Deeply.
And then whatever your, whatever your faith is, if you're Muslim, perfect. And again, if you go into other religions, if you go to whatever, there's always a system of something
to understand.
To understand. And if you just go to nature, I don't know, watch animal births, like natural ones,
yes,
in nature, you see and you get.
So there is a elephant birth. Those of you that taken classes with me, if you've seen that elephant birth, that itself is amazing.
Right. Someone asked if the water broke before or during delivery. So the water broke during birth. Like basically, I went to the bathroom, right? How I already shared now in public that I went to the bathroom, number 2. Which was again something like, why do they give you an enema? Because they don't want you to poop during birth, right? So I did not poop during birth. I pooped before, right? And this happens for many women, like during early labor, sometimes
your body
labor. There's a natural way of how things are planned, designed. So after that, that's why when I said pooping, right, and then I said blood, because that's when my water broke.
And then I'm sending her questions and there's no reply. And the next thing I hear is, within 5 minutes, he is here. And I was like, yeah, and some of those messages were, my husband's awake, shall I come? That was one of my messages. Well, okay, I was ready. It was 11 p.m. I was ready to put on my abaya and go to her.
Right.
But the next message I get, he's here. All right, I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah, I was like I was prepared, but I also wasn't prepared. And I do believe that this was Allah giving me what I wanted, what I had
rather than what you had thought for.
And because we have control to some extent.
Yeah, but this is Allah telling us, look, I am the one in control.
So even if I had not planned for it this way, and then
Allah
maybe it wouldn't have, maybe
so I want to add this. So because I said this, what I saw, observed her all pregnancy, near birth as well, what I saw, and that's what I kept telling. The first person I told was my husband. What she wanted, what she prayed for, what deep inside she was not so sure of, but still she wanted it. What she put her faith in for, Allah blessed her exactly that.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I told my husband. I was in tears. I was crying in happy tears, but also the tears of that, Ya Allah, what is your qudra? Subhanallah. Amen. She is my bestie. She's a sister to me. She did it.
And when you go back to, like all the births and all the things that you're told, like I had 2 episiotomies, right? My 2 induction births. Like I was a healthy 23 and 25-year-old at that time. No medical, like I was the perfect patient. I wasn't even overweight at that time, because that's like the one thing that, I
hope that mama is listening to me now. There's one mom at the moment, she's really panicking. Oh my God, I have a high BMI. I hope you're here right now. I'm not going to say
like I had both with Mahelhel, with Emily, and with Basil. I was overweight when I gave birth, and I'm not advertising that. I'm not saying they should.
Well, I was overweight when I had Halima. I'm still overweight.
It's often a reality, and the thing is, it does not hinder you from giving birth. Like with Mahelhel, I wasn't fit. So after that, yes, I was tired, man. If you run a marathon without preparation, of course you're knocked out after.
Just walk and remember, I used to do 5 flights of stairs. I'm tired now doing that.
So you need to be aware, okay, but does it make you incapable? No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. Especially when you have that stage of like, now you have to, you show up for yourself. Your body shows up.
And that's what happened. Baby Basil, he didn't have a name for a while, by the way.
1 month. He was
nameless for 1 month.
He was
That's how shocked Lana was. She couldn't name her baby.
But that's how unimportant it became
because of the
how unimportant it became, all the things, not just the name. Like, I'm not saying the name is not important,
No,
but like
of course not.
all the things were, if you take the proportion of like, what do we prepare for when we are
Yes,
pregnant?
right.
It's the reception,
And
it's
the
the
baby
clothes,
stuff
the
and the
nursery,
crib, yeah.
and to please everyone, right? Who wants to come, even who is with us during labor, who's coming afterwards, what bedding do I have? And there's nothing wrong with it.
Lana was like,
Do
no,
whatever you want.
Lana's level of tawakkul was another level. That's what, so if there's a key takeaway from this whole 2 hours we've been together, is a next level of tawakkul.
Yeah. And I didn't realize it until much later, because
At the moment you gave birth, that's when I was like, this is what happened here.
Yeah.
This is, I recognized it immediately.
Because if you, like, if I choose one person, right, to give my power to surrender to, it's not a person.
It's not a person. Why would you give it to a person?
Because the only one that really has the best interest at heart in me, even over you, over anybody who doesn't have their own agenda, is Allah.
It's Allah. And He is the only one who knows you truly.
And now again, if we decide from points of fear, right, then we find all these reasons. Like if you now, as you're listening, have this thought like, but Lana, listen, I would say, but I'm not perfect. Yeah. You know, yeah, you have, it's natural that we have these things that there's like, write down all your buts.
Write down all your buts.
Anything that comes to mind is like, yeah, but in my case, you know, like if you want to prove me wrong, go ahead. Message me. I want to invite you. Message me. Tell me all your reasons why you are different, why your circumstances don't allow you to
write it down, and then find
then you can
how you work on it here, and you work on it seeing
the answers will come when you want the answers, not
when you are being defensive about them.
Yeah. Do you want to have a good experience, or you want to be right?
Right. Okay. I need to pick up Halima in like 10 minutes.
Okay. So
we need to wrap it up. It's been 2 hours already, so excuses there.
When you said an hour, I was like, no, let's see.
So I love what she wrote. Write down all the butts and shove them in the
butt. Not your own butt. The biggest butt in your life.
All right. So there's just one. What about the later procedures, like cutting off the cord? Yeah, let's just wrap the final stuff.
Okay, to wrap it really up. I stayed home for like 2 hours, gathering myself. I watched
what happened.
I think I will share the story of the birth story.
Yeah.
Then I will put a post where I share the birth story, like a post, yes.
And it's a shared post.
Let me do the placenta fell into the toilet after I was holding my baby.
The baby.
No, not the baby, of course not. And
that's not important anymore.
I was like, man, I just gave birth. Okay, let me.
It's not important anymore.
Let me call my parents, right? Because I just told them that I was going home to sleep, right? I'm like, hi, hey, this is baby Basil. Oh, not, he wasn't baby Basil that time. He's baby, right? He's here. My mom is like, oh my gosh, what? So I was just sitting there and I was excited and everything. And my husband was sitting on the bathroom floor in the other corner, just like,
what did she do?
You know, grasping reality. And then I felt placentas coming. So I told my husband, I said, you really have to hold baby. So I just held the cord because I didn't want the cord to like tug on my baby. Or to snap. Imagine that I lose my placenta in the toilet and they go like, where is the placenta? I switched the placenta. Imagine then calling them like, excuse me, can you open there? There must be a placenta somewhere like in the sewage, you know? Imagine. So anyway, so I had my husband hold my son, and then I like literally fished it out of the toilet bowl, put it down on the bathroom floor. It was hilarious. And I didn't tell them.
And Lana has the cleanest bathrooms, by the way.
Well, duh.
No, like if you compare
after that, yeah, no more, you know. And then like I washed up. I had to dig out the marriage certificate, right? Because that's what happens.
Yeah.
Baby number 5. Yes. So we had to check like
after baby number 5, she had to find her marriage certificate.
Because they would still not believe you, right? Without the right documentation. It's all about the numbers. It's all about the baby. And then we went to the hospital. I did not cut the cord. I had the placenta like in a little plastic bag that I took with me.
Laughing at that 5 baby.
So I wrapped up my baby, had him in my arms, and no, that was the one time I did not put him in a car seat. I brought him with me, right?
Yeah, well, because there was a placenta. How are you going to handle the car seat with the placenta, Lana?
He was so teeny tiny. He was naked. I would not put him out of my arms.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was the middle of the night, 2 a.m. Yeah. We went to the hospital, and the first question there was like, your baby already born? or you already give birth? I was just thinking like, no, I did not tuck my tummy and I did not steal someone's baby, put them on my lap. Yeah, I already gave birth. And then this is where within the next minutes they charged my insurance the full amount for it. I went to a private hospital.
Yeah, listen to that.
They charged my insurance the full amount for the birth package, right? They, wrote all the papers that, birth had placed, the birth was, happening in the hospital because you need the documentation.
What?
Yeah. And at that time, while normally I really stand up for what's right and what's wrong, I did not have the willingness to put my energy there
To fight against it.
to fight anything there. And the reason why I went to private, although I could have gone to, people ask me, why didn't you go to the government?
Yeah.
Because my husband would be shut off at the door,
Yeah, and he wouldn't be allowed with her.
And why would I choose that when I do have insurance?
When she had the privilege, she took it. Alhamdulillah, this is where we say alhamdulillah for the ni'mas we have.
And I said this to my husband before, I said, and I still would have made you pay. But then I would have let you fight for it,
Yeah.
like to not pay for that.
Fair enough, yeah.
But you don't compromise on yourself. Like, why are we compromising on ourselves like so much? So that was the experience and all of the because
And then what happened at the hospital?
Well, they checked me. They kind of dismissed me a bit. Like you could feel it in the room.
They were like, oh,
they were a bit like,
she did it herself.
You
She
did
didn't
everything.
need us.
You don't need us. And
Why
I
do you
was
need
like,
us now?
Yeah. You want anything? You want anything? You don't need painkiller? Okay, write her a wash. She just said, write her a wash. And she wrote me like some 13 kD wash that, I mean, I make soaps and natural stuff. So I did not want to use their wash. I told my husband, put it back because like, insurance doesn't cover that. And I refused that.
Of all the things.
Of all the things, right? And then I just asked for some, I think I just took some stool softeners for,
Yeah.
But anyway, I want to mention that
Yeah, did you tear?
Yeah, I had 2 episodes, right? My first 2 births. Then my third one, when I had this like whole audience in the room that came in for the, the birth, natural birth experience. That time I tore. I also had my doctor's hands on my, on my privates when this baby was born. So I don't know exactly what happened there, but I tore that time. Baby number 4 and baby number 5, not a single tear. Okay. To me, this was, I cried
This
after.
is after episiotomy.
After Emily, I cried because I was so scared of tearing, okay, that I couldn't believe
that you did it without
that I didn't tear, that all this talk, all the things that they told me, we have to cut you because else you're tearing and all this, that is all bullshit. And I'm not apologizing for my language here because it was exactly
We're used to Lana now.
nothing else. It was exactly that. It was lies, fear-mongering, justifying that it's okay
To do what they want to
abuse me, to hurt me, to do a practice that is not even done in many countries anymore, to injure me when there was a chance of not even having an injury. And I did not have a long labor. I did not even have, it was basically at the convenience, for the convenience of the medical team or the doctor at that time. So yeah,
So you guys went to the hospital just for documentation? No. She stayed then. She was like, I've got 4 kids at home. I wanted to. Right?
Yeah, I could have signed out after.
And the fact that they took the full money, so just use it as a hotel for 2 days, yeah?
Right. So yeah, I mean, in retrospect, I wished I would have gone home because it was not a nice state. They didn't make me feel really welcome there. I felt like the negativity, of the whole. Unfortunately, that was there, but overall.
But then next day I come, and my gift to Lana the next day was I got the salon that we wanted to go. I got that into the hospital room, and she got her massage, postpartum massage.
And I got really enjoy it.
Yes, she could enjoy it, and I got my nails done as well. So yeah, we got our salon that day done.
Right. To answer this last question, before we wrap up, the friend who birthed at home, no, she did not go into private. She went into the government hospital, and she was separated from her husband, of course, at the door. And there were some comments again from doesn't matter, but it was from male doctors. While she had a few stitches, and she was told that this wouldn't have happened if she had come into the hospital. Wow, like you are the all-knowing or what, like plus why are you discussing that?
And her by the way, with Basil, the doctor never came. So we both have the same doctor. She never actually came in the night when she walked into the hospital.
No, because
the birth was done.
They said the baby was already born, so no need to call.
So the next day, she comes in, the doctor comes in, and she doesn't even check anything. She's just like, how are you? You're good, all good.
Because again, I don't want anything checked.
She didn't want anything checked.
They did an ultrasound. when I arrived at the hospital to check that there was no placenta or leftovers, anything in my tummy.
That's
And yeah, it was a healing experience. But both of those births, they were just healing for it is possible. Yes, there are risks out there. Yes, there are emergencies out there.
But then there's risk with everything,
but there's a risk with everything in life, but it's a lot about what do you prepare?
Right.
Do you set yourself up for the worst shit with all the induction and the interventions, and then yeah, for me it didn't work out. Really? Okay. Where did you say yes to things that sabotaged your own wishes, and why?
And even if sometimes that might not be it, then I would say you go back to the faith part. We also have faith and destiny as well, right? So, okay, but at least in that case, you're satisfied with the outcome. It's a different level of satisfaction. It is more of acceptance. It is more of, okay, alhamdulillah, this is what was khair for me, and you accept it. But at least you're accepting it after you've done your 200%. Right. You have not left any stone unturned. That's my point, and that's my message, and that's why I do what I do, right? To make sure that you have not left any stone unturned, right? Yeah, we had this all on at the hospital. I want to see baby Basil now. He's not here,
no,
but
he's not with us.
he's the one on the. She's always posting him on the baby wearing group. She's always baby wearing him, posting him. So yeah. Okay, let me go back to my slides now. Thank you. Sorry.
Go back to your slide. Yes.
So.
Do you understand, I mean, you know already, but do you understand why it's so important to work so wholesome, not just as a doula, like to show up at the birth and be like, now I'm here to hold your hand and to maybe massage you or tell you're going to be okay, or to tell to your doctor, like what you want and what you don't want. It needs so much more.
Right. Agreed.
It needs so much more, and you deserve so much more. And meeting with the mother a couple of times before.
Yeah, no.
And so on. It's like something like.
You need to build a relationship.
It's needed for yourself. You with yourself, with your plan.
I don't want a stranger with me.
But you need to know your plan inside and out. Your birth plan, if I take it out of your hands and I tell you me your birth plan. Right. You need to know all the steps, not maybe in chronological order, but you need to know what you actually want.
Yeah. All right. So this is, it's so bright. Sorry, I missed the R. I'll send the right accounts.
It's okay.
I'm going to send the right
anyway,
account.
They're not here for soap.
Yeah, they're.
You're not here for soap.
By the way, Lana is also a baby wearing consultant. And she has an amazing baby wearing support group, which is going to be more detailed in a bit in the next coming few months as Lana's working on it. Lana and I will be collaborating again for bigger packages for mamas in Kuwait, right? So stay tuned for that, and you will get exclusive support and all of that coming with it. Do you want to say anything on that?
About the new offerings. Well, basically there is birth support. I'm back in the game now after my baby turned 1. And what I want to support you when you say to yourself that you are all in, not just the idea of oh, maybe I want to do this, okay, I want to do this, then you're the right person with me, then I'm your person. Basically support throughout pregnancy, whether you are at the beginning or you're in the middle of it, or even towards the end, but you need to put in the time and the effort, and we're going to go through the ugly. If there is something that triggered you during this talk, good, then you're in the right space. And there's going to be a lot of that, because only then you have the chance to work through these things to actually get the results that you want.
Yes.
Because I don't leave a mom going out of their birth experience without feeling that she was in charge with the decisions that she made. You don't want anyone that is overrun, and I don't let you give up on yourself.
And I'm so blessed that she asked me to be a part of this package thing that she's offering.
So part of the package is part of the support is that you need to have education on birth, because if you choose to go into a hospital, you need to have that education.
Yeah.
And this is where I work with Hafsa, because I don't do the exact education parts. Yeah. All these classes is what you would do with Hafsa, which is perfect for women in Kuwait, because she is well versed about that, all the guidelines
globally now.
Things.
So honestly, I know there's global moms watching.
But I
now.
do online too, so
yes,
globally,
there
yes
you
too.
go. Yeah,
but
globally.
Especially for Kuwait, it's ideal, and it's not a must. So it depends. Everything is flexible, but it's not something like, okay, you just want me to come for 6 hours at your birth. No, I'm not interested. And that's me.
And I respect that.
Cutting my line of okay, if you don't want to do all the preparation, I don't want to hold your hand while you're being traumatized.
Right. You need to be fully in as well. That's her point. And to be part of that fully in, I'm happy to help bridge any of that bridging that needs. So if you need to know what and everything. So these are the details of my classes. My next group starts right after Eid. 16th of June. Seats are already filling up fast. I think I just have like a couple of seats left, but I'm happy to expand that as well because mashallah, once we have a good group, the interactions, the support each mama gives to each other.
It's the energy that
I
comes.
just love it. I am loving it. Sometimes I don't even need to say anything, and I'm just impressed by how these women are supporting each other. So, and there's so many of you online right now. You all know how much support. It's ongoing. It's not just doesn't end with the classes as well. All right. And I offer all of this. So again, these are my right qualifications now, by the way.
So look at those. Look at what you have to offer.
Yes. So I've got all these specialized workshops as well. Right. And
all this knowledge is not just for this birth. It's like for your children, whether you have a boy or a girl, you know, like for when they are,
it's a legacy.
You know, it's a legacy, really.
Right.
And it's a change in society because the more women that are educated, the more children, you know, like how you see it's like an ongoing good thing in life.
Right. I agree.
That's why I'm like, okay, when do you want to do it? Anytime, even before you're married, because then you have a better chance at asking your husband what do you want, you know?
I've had moms do it. Okay, I'm planning. Oh, yalla, bismillah.
Yes.
Right. Definitely. All right. So ladies, if you want to sign up, because then I'm not going to be teaching any classes in July because I will be traveling. I will be in Pakistan. I'll be doing lots of stuff there. And those of you that have taken up classes with me, you guys get privilege on many things as well. And then inshallah, the next group after that won't be until mid to end of August. All right. So don't miss out if you're due, because my classes go on for weeks, right? The support and everything. So if you're due anytime from, I would say, September onwards, or even August onwards, sign up now. Don't delay. Don't leave it till the end.
Right.
All right. Please.
And
these are my contact details if anyone wants to register. You can scan from my Instagram. This is my phone number. This is my email and everything. And let me just open the questions quickly so that we quickly answer all
and
the
you
questions.
can share my contact on the group.
Yes.
My WhatsApp contact. Otherwise, they can go to my Shilini.
Yeah. No, once because this is recorded. Once I upload it onto YouTube, I'll add your account. Yeah. So they can contact Lana for anything they need from Lana as well.
Right.
Okay. So let me quickly see. All good. Note everything was pitch normal for you to opt for a home, but yeah, alhamdulillah, it had just all worked out beautifully, alhamdulillah. Thank you. That was so informative and wholesome. Thank you for all of you that stuck till the end. Now you want a home birth, inshallah, Zayd, with the right support and the right.
Easily be a great counselor. Yeah, I am. That's what I do. That's the birth work that I.
A psychodynamic counselor at that. Your thought process and the way you convey.
Yeah.
And this is Arishma talking, and she's doing clinical psychology.
Wow. Yeah. I'm honored. Thank you so much. I have put a lot of work in this, you know. It's like it's one thing to be with someone and to just emotionally support them, but it's another thing when you understand, okay, why is the situation how it is? Why? Because we choose everything. There's always a choice. And sometimes we sabotage ourselves, which is very sad.
Right.
We feel like we tried everything, but then we know deep down, and we need to dig that out and unpack all of that.
Yes. The doulas get traumatized too, and
Of
physically,
course.
emotionally exhausted when moms don't prepare and just call for
Yes, I went into therapy before, you know, before I really protected myself as well.
Yes.
You know, because we are human beings. We can't just go out and leave the room and say, oh, it's not our experience.
Right. No, that's true.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Jazakumullah khair, everyone, for joining in. It was such a pleasure, and I absolutely love this. This has to be my favorite episode. It will be uploaded as soon as I can. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much, Fatma.
Yeah, thank you everyone for showing up.
Really,
amazing. I want to also congratulate you because sitting for 2+ hours with us, it's amazing. And I hope that you can take something away from the session today.
And that would be sadqa jariyah for us, alhamdulillah.
Yes, and something that empowers you to step into the power that you already have, that you don't need from me or from Hafsa, just to be reminded of that you already have everything within you. You just need to unpack.
You're amazing. Can't believe I stuck through 2 hours. Yes. Like I said, I can talk and talk.
And be together. Oh my gosh.
And we both can talk. And you guys, I will always make sure you never get bored of me or get sick of me. Yep.
Right.
You're not getting sick of me. Remember that. And inshallah, not just in this world, inshallah, in Jannah, we sit together and talk like that as well. That's my dua for every single one of you. Inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Let's just recite the dua at the end so that if anything, just, inshallah. Nice deep breath, everybody. Positive thoughts, forgive yourself, be happy, stay positive. Sorry, I did not ditch you. The connection decided to say that.
Is it recording?
Yeah, it's recording. Yeah. The connection decided to say, yeah, it's really time to go.
Right.
Yes. So yeah, thank you everybody that stuck around. So I just wanted to say the dua before we left. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.